This month, Streaming Things is brought to you by Chester Copperpot, Stanton Valentino, Wendy O'Laughlin, Jason Hawkins, Matthew Emerson, Trey Barrera, Conrad, Luke and Sarah, David Malfara, Kaylee Sampson, Rabid Dog and a Barbie Car, Jose Ruben Cruz Rodriguez, Thomas Alexander, Emmy, Joe Velez, Abby Vollmer, Valerie, Aaron Layton, John Collins, Sun Loving Mortal, Andrew Gray, Jen Robinson, Kate, Chloe Richardson, Kalisha Reeves, Kiki Newton, Kevin Strother, Jeanette Murphy, Casey McCain, and Enza.
Welcome back. My name is Chris.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things. This time, we're covering a movie called Grind from 2003. And that was dictated by one of our patrons, Will. Thank you so much for choosing Grind. There's a tier of our patronage that allows you to force us to watch and cover a movie, and that's what this is. And like we promised, we're going to be plowing ahead through these over the coming months and knocking them all out. We got a big backlog. Next week, I believe, is Tombstone at the very least. Some of these weeks, we're going to try to double up.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
That's right. Say when.
Say when.
I got that poster up on my wall, damn it. So I'm super excited for that. That's going to be a fucking phenomenal episode. But I'm excited for Grind, too. We're here for Grind. You may have noticed Jake is here. Hi, Jake.
Hi.
So Jake is a friend of mine in IRL, a longtime patron of the show, and a skateboarder and fan of the movie Grind. What made this so funny, why I had to have Jake on the show for this episode, is because Jake asked me to watch this movie, I don't know, a couple of years ago.
It was a while ago.
You got to watch Grind. And I was like, I'm definitely not, you know? So when this movie came up, Steve was like, hey, one of the patrons asked for Grind. And I knew Jake was a patron. So I was like, was that fucking Jake?
It was not.
And Steve was like, no. And it was not. And so I was like, no way. There's another grinder out there.
Yeah, this episode was suggested by none other than Will Nash. He, some might recognize him. He was one of the original mods for the Discord. So Streaming Things rolls deep with Will Nash.
Yeah, we do. We stand Will.
Is he a skater? Do you know?
He definitely is. Yeah. He definitely was back in the day. He also has a stand-up special on Spotify if you guys ever want to look it up. I don't have the name of his special.
Yeah, Google it.
But it is funny. I did watch it.
I'm going to Google it.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
But yeah, so we you know the shtick. We're going to talk about our overall thoughts about the movie and then do our best to recap it. Hopefully all of you were able to watch this before listening to this, because I don't think a lot of you would have seen it in advance, but maybe. I was able to find it on the Peacock. Is that where you watched it, guys?
It's on Freevee. I watched it on there.
Freevee.
But I also have it on DVD. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah.
I own it.
I've had it for
this
a very long time.
This is your Train to
Busan.
Yeah.
No, I saw it on Amazon Prime through Freevee.
Oh, really?
It's one of those things where you're like, oh, it's on Prime, but then the first commercial, like, Freevee, pops on. I'm like,
it got
fuck
you.
you.
Got you. I told you. Yeah, this was on Peacock. I just auto-played it on my Apple TV, and it was apparently on Peacock. So I had never seen it before. I was really excited to dive in. I was, but I actually text Steve and Jake. So this movie Grind, it's rated PG-13. It came out in 2003. It has a 5.9.
I thought you said it was an 8.
Hold on.
Wait, there's more.
On IMDb, which is typically pretty generous, right? It's got a 30 Metascore, which not great. And what Metascore does is combines everything together, right? But it's only got 24 reviews, even on Metacritic. So it's not like a super, like not a lot of people have even seen the fucking thing. Now, when I pulled it up on Peacock, Apple TV will do this thing where it shows you the Rotten Tomatoes score of anything. And it said 8%, which is rotten. But let me just verify that. Let me just verify.
Are you sure?
Let me just verify.
Rotten isn't good because they're called Rotten Tomatoes.
It's actually barely fresh. 97% of things are fresh. Let's see. Grind on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go. Oh, yep, 8%. But it's only got 74 reviews.
That's because skaters don't review.
Oh my God. This has got to be the biggest disparity between critics and audiences I have ever seen.
Oh, what is it on audience?
79%.
Wow.
That's good,
score.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's really good.
That's high, especially with an 8% critics consensus. The critics consensus is mediocre skateboard stunts are padded by a half-baked plot and one-dimensional characters. That's fair.
Yeah.
They're not wrong.
So I saw the 8 and I was like, oh boy. But I got to say, I can't say it yet. So Steve.
Oh, you're throwing it to me first?
I want to throw it to you because I think I know what's going to go down. And I think we can sandwich, we can do some peaks and valleys here.
Okay.
What was your experience watching Grind for the first time?
As I was watching Grind this for the first time, never seen it before. Honestly, had never even heard of it before Will suggested it. As I'm watching it, I was thinking, you know what? I could really easily see, if I were a 15-year-old boy in around 2003 who was really into skateboarding and this movie comes out, I could see how this movie would be my mecca, right? I would love it. I would stand it. I would be all about it. Unfortunately, I was not that 15-year-old boy. I'm watching it now. I'm 35. I watched it 20 years too late. This movie was rough. It was fun to watch in a way where I was just I couldn't take my eyes off the screen because I was like, this is so bad. This is so bad. It's funny. It's mostly so bad that it's funny. And I was like laughing at a lot of things. There were a couple things in the plot where I'm just like, why is this scene still going on? Why is this scene even existing? What was the point of that? And then the one review that was like, a bunch of skateboarding demo reel footage put together by a loosely haggard plot. Yeah, that's the movie. That's basically what it is. But I could see where someone could really, really like it if they were in the right situation. Unfortunately, I did not grow up in that situation. So for me, this was a big woof for me.
Woof.
Woof, not a whiff.
Yeah. He said he barked at it.
Woof.
Okay, Jake.
Okay, so
what are your overall thoughts?
It's a very good description that Steve gave because I remember watching it I don't know if it was like when it first came out, but as a child, when I watched it, it was awesome because I was a skateboarder and I loved every bit of it. I didn't care about the acting. I didn't care about any of that sort of thing. I loved seeing all the random professional skateboarders pop up and stuff. And also there's not too many skateboarding movies to pick out of. So this is like easily in the top 5 of the 5 that have been made.
Yeah, what else do you have to even compete with? You have
like Lords of Dogtown. There's one called Street Dreams, which is the acting is even worse, but it actually has a lot of pro skaters in it, which is super fun.
What about Gleaming in the Cube?
I don't even know what that is. So
it's got Christian Slater in it.
I'm gonna check that out.
Slater?
It's got the Slater, yeah. There is some skateboarding in it, but yeah, there's not a lot, man. There's Brink if you're able to watch.
Oh God,
rollerblading.
Yeah, I grew up on Brink. That was amazing. I love that movie. Brink and Airborne. Those are in the top 2. So those beat this one. But I mean, before I was told that you guys were doing this on the podcast, I love this movie, and then I watched it preparing for a podcast. It's not like the greatest movie out there, but like when you have to really pay attention to it, but I still love it. So, but yeah,
we all have those like childhood movies that they just hit us in the right moments, right? And you can watch them today and objectively be like, this isn't great, but I love it.
I still loved it. Yeah, I still loved every second of it. But now I was like, as I'm watching it, I was like, oh man, they're gonna pick this apart. But yeah, I mean, overall, I still loved it. It's a great movie. Yeah.
Live your life. Live your truth, man.
That's
Live
me,
your
yeah.
truth.
There's a lot of movies that you watch and they just don't hold up, right? Like a lot of those like kids movies, like Escape from Witch Mountain, or is it To Witch Mountain? You know what I'm talking about.
With The Rock?
No, the original ones.
Oh, okay.
You goof ass. Yeah, I was 20, so I was in the right headspace. I used to watch like Last Starfighter and so many Van Damme movies, so many 80s movies, like they just have a special place in my heart, even though they're goofy as shit, right? Like, so I totally even like Smart House or like Brink, Halloween Town.
Oh, Halloween Town.
You know what I mean? Like I fucks with them, they have a special place in your heart because you watched them then. However, like Steve, I had never seen this movie in its original state when I was a kid. So I watched it for the very first time. And it does have some charm to it. Okay. Now, the way I would describe this movie is it's like one of those early 2000s, like a lot of the humor doesn't age well, comedies, mixed with like a Disney Channel original movie. So it's like, it's got this weird dichotomy where it's doing both. And so a lot of the comedy, they don't lean in enough. Like this, there is a good movie here. There, like it's not a road trip.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's not American Pie. Like it doesn't even you can't even just say like the humor doesn't work anymore. I would argue it never worked at all. Right.
Not even. Yeah.
But
at the time.
there is a really good movie here. I want to see the rated R version where these four guys seek out to be professional skaters and go on this road trip comedy adventure. I want this movie. Not this movie, but I want.
I feel like it would get a lot darker if we got like real life into it of these people just like following around professional skateboarders and trying to track every move that they make so they can be there for each moment. I feel like if it was rated R, it would get a lot worse.
Well, yeah, but I think it's a good road comedy in here. And it's just not what we get. But even though I didn't watch this movie in 2003, there's still a lot of nostalgia for me for a couple reasons. First off, the cast, right? Not the main cast so much. In fact, Sweet Lou fucking creeps me out a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But like Jason London randomly popping up because I was a huge fan of like Mallrats and shit. So Jason and Jeremy London were big parts of my childhood there.
You get like a Stephen Root and
fucking
Brian
Posehn, Randy Quaid, and the weirdest Randy Quaid sighting I've ever. And that's saying something. Like they paid him $10,000 to just show up, and he was like, "That's fair," but I'm going to be drunk.
Yeah.
And then half the Jackass
Bobcat
crew.
Goldthwait.
Yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait showing up in maybe the creepiest role ever committed to film.
But and then Bam Margera, like half of the and yes, I'm going to mention Adam Brody, I swear. But there's
you don't have to.
People in the audience are like, "Oh my God, say it." But Bam Margera, like half the cast of Jackass was in this movie. Like Wee Man's in there. I forget his name. Oh, Tom Green shows up.
Oh yeah, Tom Green's
like,
the dude.
It's just like a time capsule
He
movie.
was the best part of the whole movie. It was Tom Green.
So there was a point in my notes, I literally wrote down, this is the most early 2000s movie that has ever been made. The only thing it's missing is a Tom Green cameo.
Did not.
Literally the next fucking scene, Tom Green shows up. I'm like, well, okay, it is the most 2000 movie of all
10
time.
minutes of just him talking.
Yes, my review on Letterboxd, I was like, I feel like I found this in a time capsule. Like I just dug it up, and this was the movie. Like somebody in 2003 buried it to like let us know what 2003 was like. So it's nostalgic for that reason, but also. I was telling Madison on our last show, like I was before we recorded, I was, talking about this movie. I was a skater kid, kind of. I didn't skate.
You were a skater boy?
Jordan, Josh.
Did she say, "See you later, boy"?
She did.
Good.
But I wasn't good enough for her.
Aw. Hey, buddy, you're good enough for us.
I hung out with a bunch of skaters, but I was uncoordinated. So like I had all the accoutrement, the band t-shirts, the clothes and stuff. I would walk on foot behind my skater friends while they were like lubing up their rails or whatever they were doing. And I would just sit and smoke cigarettes and like flip people off while they grinded and did cool shit.
Rip your own holes in your jeans.
I would hacky my sack, just to pass the time. Like, You guys done? Can we go spray paint something? Or it's a cultural thing. And that's another thing I feel like this movie doesn't capture super well is like, like Lords of Dogtown, it's an important cultural movement. Skating, like it's a rebellion. It's like the '60s. It's a reinvigoration of counterculture, right? And it's just like suburban kids at like the fast food restaurant and stuff. Like Adam Brody's character is like the most unskater guy thing I've ever seen. Guys, I want to go to college.
I know, yeah.
Guys, watch me do a kickflip.
Woo, look what I can do.
Right, most people that are like that good in college and stuff like that are also that good at skateboarding, like the way he is his character in the movie, usually are more into the skating because they have that skill level. Like that doesn't really.
Yeah, I mean, this takes a lot. Well, my point is, I guess, because I hung out with a lot of skaters, those are really fucking like the Jackass guys, right? Like these are really tough people because you get hurt a lot skating, right?
Yes.
Like they're missing teeth. There's a lot of broken arms. They do crazy shit. There's a certain kind of person. I'm not saying just across the board, nobody can be sensitive and sweet and nice and skate. Like here sits Jake, right?
Right.
But I'm just saying, I just didn't get this accurate vibe. And that's why I think there's a really cool movie there. Like, like imagine like a Darren Aronofsky skater movie. That'd be wild.
Well, that would be crazy.
But also like we read in the Metacritic thing, I think it's accurate. One of the most disappointing things is like the skate tricks are not that good. Like there's nothing.
They're not. I know.
I imagine it's pretty low budget, but
I was trying to like watch and like I was gonna go through all the tricks that they show and stuff like that for throughout the movie, but like really they're not that great. Like for someone who's not a skater,
yeah, like to me they're shit I could never do.
But like really they're just like kickflip board slides, backboard slides, stuff like that. Like nothing too crazy. Like those are like beginner level. They're not professional level skill. Like,
I'm so glad you guys said that because as someone who I know nothing about skating. I don't know anything about it. I don't know I don't know the difference between a good move or a bad move. So anytime they were skating, all I could think of was like, is that good? Is that good?
I don't know if that's good. They're all hard. They're definitely hard, but like those aren't like people that are doing the tricks that they're doing aren't the ones that are on the road trying to get sponsored. Like those are the tricks you learn.
Like those are what my friends were doing.
Right. Yeah. Like that's something Jordan would be able to do. Right. Like,
Adam Brody learned to do that like the day before shooting.
So my friend Jordan.
Oh, so if he's actually doing it, yeah.
I don't think they were because there are some very obvious stunt doubles on these.
Well,
I think they were using
the part where they first show up when you meet Adam Brody's character. That's really them on the skateboard like when they're just going down the driveway.
Sure.
And even then I was like, neat. Cause I can't do even that.
Right. I was saying that's not super easy. You can't just like throw an actor on a board like, hey, you just ride it down the driveway. They'll fall. They'll fall on their ass.
I've tried many times. I was the guy that would go down the hill laying down on the skateboard. You know,
even then, if you go fast enough, you get the speed wobbles, you're off.
I went in a manhole once, not like full body, but like one of my legs.
Like a goddamn cartoon character?
Yes.
It'd be better if your whole body went down.
Did you hold up a sign that said yikes before gravity took you?
Might as well.
I got super lucky. Like it spun me around completely 180 and like my knee bent how it's supposed to bend inside the
Thank God for that.
drain. And I just laid back with my leg in it.
Oh, yeah, so I was super lucky. I'm imagining that perfectly. Yeah.
I was super
Thank
lucky. God. I quit for the day.
I had to quit for life after that.
But yeah, and I don't even think it's that they weren't able to hire because they have a lot of professional skaters in this movie, like a lot. Mm-hmm. Like it was so weird seeing a young Bam Margera before his alcoholism took over in this movie. And so ironic that they made him a douche.
That blew my goddamn mind that they made him a villain halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
I did not expect.
It's like, oh no.
That was another instance where I wrote a note down picking holes in the plot and then he became a villain. I'm like, what is this movie?
I used to watch like Viva La Bam and I was real big into Jackass and I had a girlfriend who was really into Bam. I had a crush on him and she listened to him and shit all the time because of Bam. And it was a whole thing. But anyway, I think it's partially the editing and like the filmmaking that makes the tricks not look impressive. The montages go on too long a lot of the time. They get repetitive. You know what I mean? They weren't.
This movie should have been at least 15 minutes shorter. I think it would have been better if it was 15 minutes shorter. And
15 exactly.
Yeah. No more, no less. 15 on
just
the
15
dots.
minutes. Shave that off.
Mathematically, 15 is the proper number.
You can take 7 of that off in extended montages.
Yeah.
Like the pool scene. The pool scene was almost really cool. And then they did a couple shots of them like entering, taking turns at the entrance and launching on their boards and stuff. A little too long. It sounds petty, but like
but you're not wrong.
There's a scene that goes on for it felt like 5 minutes where they're singing "Poison" in the van. I'm like, why is this still happening?
And they build it up like it's a big deal. Everyone's gonna know what's going on here. Like
they wanted that moment to hit so badly, and but they like didn't have the rights to a song that everybody wants to actually sing.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh man, this is a big deal. But like they made we know that song, but it's not that great.
They played it like they were doing the almost famous tour bus scene with Elton John.
Right, yeah.
But I'm just watching. I'm like, look, and then there's 2 fourth wall breaks in this movie. What? That was weird. By the way, what's his name? Vince Vilaf. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not, but he's in After Party. He's in all kinds of good stuff, like especially back then, like kind of comedies. I actually like.
Yeah, he hasn't actually acted in like 12 years.
Who's he play? Who was that?
Well, he was in the After Party.
He's Matt.
Oh, was he? I looked up his IMDb.
He's the goofy guy, Matt, with the Okay.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure he's in the After Party on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, his last acting credit on IMDb is 2010 for a movie called Hysteria. Because I looked him up because I'm like, what? I haven't seen that guy in forever because I remember him vividly in Rat Race. That's how I know him mostly.
Rat Race. Okay, yeah.
He was the guy that just screeched in Rat Race, and he does that in this movie too. So I was like getting hit with the nostalgia noise. It's like, oh, I know that screech,
Right.
So I looked him up because I was curious what happened to him. But yeah, like according to IMDb, his last movie is in 2010.
I think you're right. I think he just looks like someone else. I don't know who I'm confusing
He
him
looks
with.
like someone that's in a bunch of goofy movies, but like I couldn't picture any of them. I guess because they didn't exist.
But anyway, so like in that, it's a half fourth wall break. In that scene where they're singing Poison, the last face that you see is his, and it zooms in on it, and he's looking into the camera, and it's awkward.
Yeah. Because he just said he didn't even know what song that was.
Yes.
And then they know every word to it.
They all kind of. There's actually a weird scene where the guy who plays Sweet Lou, when he first turns on that Poison song, he's singing the song wrong.
Yes,
He's saying different words, and it's driving me fucking insane that they didn't do another take.
I know.
Like you said,
That made it more real. That's how I am. I'm super confident when a
but
song
he's
comes
supposed
on.
to play this like suave guy that they ripped straight out of Matthew McConaughey's
Oh yeah,
playbook.
he's 100% Matthew
It's literally
McConaughey.
that character, but like not cool. Like he's
Wednesday.
like he's just got this like receding hairline and shit, and he's like hitting on all these.
He's
like,
100% a pedophile.
I'm gonna call you on Wednesday.
I don't like it. No, but the chick who stole the van. Later on, she steals the douchebag villain team's
steals their
Escalade,
SUV or whatever.
The Blue Crew.
and she looks at the camera and winks as
Yeah.
she drives away.
She
It's
doesn't
just-
wink.
It's weird. Just she does.
No, she doesn't. I made sure to check
Or-
that. She doesn't. I
In
thought I was
in
expecting a
advance?
wink, and she didn't wink.
It wasn't a
I
literal
know
wink.
where your head's at.
It's
but
a metaphorical wink.
Oh yeah, she wanted to wink, but she didn't.
So it's fourth wall break there. Shit like that. I was like, this movie's wild, man. But it's very much a product of its time. But I said all of that to just say I didn't hate this movie. I could in no good conscience call it a good movie.
No, yeah, me neither.
But, you know, I could put myself back. Like Steve said, if I had seen this in 2003, I would have loved this movie. You know, like I was watching SLC Punk and shit all the time. I would have been like, hell yes.
Oh yeah,
Grab the hacky sack boys. We're putting on grind.
Saucy Punk's good.
we
It
had
is.
lower standards back then too. So
Well, I was 13.
right. So we exactly.
There was, and I feel like I just have to say it as like the boring person who I would be the dude that all the skaters dunk on in this movie because I'm the square. But the
You're
thing
not square.
the thing that keeps me from like being like, oh yeah, this movie is like a total like it's fun, but it's just that this movie hates women.
Oh,
Just
It
hates
does.
women so much, and I want to know who hurt the people who made this. Because I would say the first 2/3 of the movie, there is not a single female character that isn't just for one of them to sexually harass
Someone
or
with
just
like
be
a top on that's like
No, they
showing
straight up
cleavage.
sexually assault, especially
Everyone.
Matt's character is
Yeah,
terrible.
and then Sweet Lou's a pedophile, as we
Yes,
said.
but he
Right.
just goes up to women and he'll be like, "Titties, let me suck on them," and then like
Yeah.
grab at them.
Yeah.
and the women will
And they
roll their
want it.
eyes like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
like-
psh, you wish." Well, Sweet Lou actually like pulls a bunch. Yeah, but I'm talking about Matt.
Oh yeah,
the
Matt,
stinky
no,
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
it isn't
bizarre.
until like towards the end of the movie when Jennifer Morrison's character actually like becomes a character because they keep hinting at this like, ooh, there's the girl. Oh, the misconnection. Oh, there
Right.
she is.
How she was
Misconnection.
the actual
Misconnection.
professional
And then it's
skateboarder.
like,
Yeah.
oh, plot twist.
That's the twist.
Woman
of the movie.
has a career.
Oh my gosh, she's helpful.
Plot
And then
twist.
they
these
use
two-
her.
Yeah, these dudes couldn't get famous except with her help.
It's bizarre.
That's the one thing where I'm just like, if they could just cut back a couple more.
Well, that's what I
creeps in
mean
this
about
show.
like part of this movie is just a product of its time, but even then it didn't work. Like this was a poor imitation of those early 2000s comedies that actually did work at the time, but are rough around the edges now. Like so there's
Right.
a lot of misogyny and homophobia and all of those early 2000s comedies. But in this one, it's like nobody liked it even then for that reason, right? Like they weren't quite landing. But there was some of this stuff, like I said, it's not completely without its charm. If I'm able to say, wow, they were douches. Everybody, we were all douches, right? So like
Yeah.
I can leave it in 2003, look at it from that lens. It's not without some of its charm. But it's tough, right? It's rough. But one of the jokes I did laugh, I'm not even going to lie. It's when the stinky guy, Matt, played by Vincent Villaf, who disappeared apparently. He looks over and there's this voluptuous breasted woman and her nipples are hard. And it's played super stupidly. Everybody's just kind of not saying anything, looking around. And he looks at her and goes, cold?
Dude, that's real subtle. I know. Like, and they just blow right by
Just
it.
the subtlety of it, I did chuckle. But if it wasn't the eighth
That
breast,
is one of the better ones. Yeah. If
was
it
the
wasn't
eighth
the
breast
ninth one
joke.
in a row, because they fire him off like.
Right, yeah.
I think there's a scene in the beginning where he does like 6 or 7 of them in the course of like 30 seconds, like with
Yes.
6 or 7 different women. And it's like, dude, calm the fuck down.
yeah, he's rabid. And what about the guy, the dad?
Oh, God.
is
Oh,
played-
Christopher McDonald?
He's the villain from Happy Gilmore.
I thought he shows up.
He does great.
And
I loved him.
He's the first creep we meet. Okay.
Yeah, you want to work at the hardware store, you can fuck pieces like this.
Right,
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you
That's a
can.
great motivation right there.
I didn't know that this movie would just be populated with a cornucopia of creeps, right? So when he showed up, I'm like, I like that villain. That's a good villain. I can't wait to see him
No,
more.
he's a good
not
guy.
in the fucking movie.
Right.
He's a good guy.
And he's a good guy. I was so, because I was like, oh, Christopher McDonald, he always plays good villains and smarmy heels, you know?
Yeah, you can,
I love that
you
about
can come
him.
huff paint at my hardware store and fuck chicks like this.
Right. Matching freaking robes and everything.
Hi,
Just
Mom.
walk out. Right.
I did like the hardest I laughed in the movie was a Christopher McDonald scene. So when he pulls the car up and like, I guess,
Oh, and he's
I guess
blowing her.
bug when he punches him in the
Yeah,
arm.
when he slug bugs him and he like high fives Matt, like, oh, they like each other. Okay.
Was
Like,
he going down on the woman as they pulled in the garage?
I don't think
I
so.
didn't notice that.
If it was,
it would not
obvious.
surprise me.
Because he like pops up, or maybe I'm just dirty minded.
Was he not driving?
No. I
Oh,
don't
he was in
think-
the back. Oh, maybe.
That's what I thought was me. I was like, oh,
I'm
that's a good
definitely have to rewatch it
subversion
for
of
that.
roles, because typically you'd think she'd be. Oh, that's nice.
Right. That's equality right there.
The slug bug stuff. We called that punch buggy when
Oh,
I was
yeah,
a kid.
I know.
Same. Yeah, I was
Okay.
a punch buggy
Slug
person,
bug
too.
makes way more sense. It rhymes.
It does, yeah.
So you were a
I
punch
know. I
buggy
don't know.
too?
Oh, I was a punch buggy all the time. Yeah.
Probably because we're all from Kentucky. We're dumb.
Is that a Kentucky thing?
Punch
'Cause we're
buggy
dumb?
might be.
Or
Well,
just the dumbness?
I grew up in Ohio. We did the same thing. So
Slug bug.
maybe it's a Midwestern.
Ohio is famously smart.
Yeah.
Are they? Okay. I was like, I missed that memo.
I was like, dang, slug bug. It's not as catchy for some reason as punch buggy though.
Slug bug.
I used to get so mad when my brother would hit me and yell punch buggy.
yeah, because you can't
Did
do
you
anything
guys-
back.
Ow.
Until
Did you
there's
guys
another
do,
one.
You can't hit him back.
Did you guys do padiddle?
But
Did
it'll
we take
oh,
our
yeah.
clothing off?
No.
That's
Whoa.
What are you
supposed to be
thinking
like
about?
that. Well, you see a padiddle where one headlight's out and
Yeah.
you say padiddle, you hit the ceiling, and then if the last person that hits the ceiling has to take one piece of clothing off.
See?
Oh, we did not play those rules.
What did you play?
Punch?
Oh, really?
It was just
Last
another
person
slug-
gets punched.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
So-
and Chris had way more sexual things when it goes for that.
I actually didn't play. The only reason this is burned into my brain is I had a deep crush on my best friend.
Nice.
And she called me one day and she's like, I was like, what are you doing last night? She's like, oh, we rode around and we played padiddle. Right. And I was like, super in love with her. And I was like, what's padiddle? And she's like, well, you know, because she was with like her older sister and like older friends and stuff. She's like, well, it's like one headlight's out and then if the last one hit it. So I ended up like riding around with my bra and stuff. It was crazy. And I was so fucking mad.
As soon as you heard that,
You know
oh
what I
my
mean?
God, why wasn't I in that car?
I wanted to just take every driver I saw that didn't have a headlight and just be like, you know what you're doing out here?
Right after
You're
that
breaking
conversation,
hearts.
it's like, hey, do
Fix
you want to
that
go
light.
for a drive?
So insanely jealous. I had a couple funny phone calls with her because she matured a lot faster than me. I remember the first time she smoked weed, she called me and I was so mad at her. I was like, you're smoking drugs? Is that what you're doing? You know,
Not weed, drugs.
You're drinking drugs?
how much did you smoke? And she was
The
like,
wacky tobacco?
she said, I don't know,
3 weeds.
2 bowls. And I shit you not, I think about it all the time. I was like, 2 bowls?
Oh my
and
God.
she was like, yes, that a lot. I was like, that is so
I'm
much.
surprised you didn't die.
It took us 10 minutes till she find out. She was like, no, that's like the pipe side. Like you just push them. That's a bowl. What did you think?
You were thinking like a cereal
Yeah,
bowl?
I was like, I thought like,
Oh my God,
cereal
that would be
bowls
a
full of
lot.
weed.
It's like basically 2
You're
ounces.
dying.
I was so,
How did you do that?
bowls of it? You need to go to rehab.
No.
I was dumb as a kid and as an adult. But back to grind. This is kind of a tougher movie to do the play-by-play. I mean, the plot, like the review said, pretty thin. But again, Jake, I got to stress, I had some fun with it. And I do think there's a great movie here.
We can barrel through the plot real quick.
Lead
you want.
us, Dad.
Barrel.
You be the Christopher. What's his name?
Christopher McDonald.
Yeah. Wear your robe.
Slug
Hey,
bug.
guys.
Bring your trophy wife out.
Work at a hardware store and you can have monos.
I just can we apologize to all the women. This movie is wild, dude.
Yeah, this is
Because it's literally like dudes that want to be pros and then tits. It's like the characters are, I bet in the script it just said tits. And then
React.
the plot twist.
there's a woman who's credited as Hot Mama.
Oh, there you go.
The plot twist is
Buxom
that
girl number one.
the tits has a job. One of the tits has a job is the big plot twist. It's
Okay.
the plot tits.
Right. This tits is a professional skateboarder.
Would you, if you were a young woman who wanted to be an actress and you landed a role in a movie, which of these roles would you prefer to have? Hot girl or another hot girl?
I'd want to be hot mama.
Oh, well, that wasn't the option I gave you.
That's true. You can't just switch it up, dude.
Yeah.
There's buxom girl number one.
Yeah.
Buxom?
Buxom, like
Buxom.
large breasted.
Is that what that means?
Woman with,
Well, there's buxom girl number two.
Woman with list.
Go-go dancer, Catholic schoolgirl.
She played two roles.
I think that's one role, but she was the go-go dancer who was
That was
Catholic
dressed like a,
schoolgirl.
okay.
Wait, so is the pregnant one the very first one, or the one that they meet with the list?
So I think
That's Hot Mama.
oh, that's
that
Hot
is
Mom.
Hot
Oh,
Mom,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
I think
Because
yes.
that woman is actually the director's
I was going to
wife.
say because it says Baron La Scala is credited as in utero, and La Scala is the director's name, and so I think the director's wife was pregnant with his
Yes.
child.
Yep.
Oh, she was really pregnant.
I put that together.
Yep.
Casey La Scala is the director. By the way, the only other credit I've heard of from this guy, none of the movies he's directed I've seen. He was an executive producer on Donnie Darko, which is bizarre.
Yeah, this is one of
That's
only
good.
2 movies he's directed. He's directed this in a movie in 2014 that looked like a horror film. I had never heard of it before. But he's mostly a producer. He doesn't really direct movies, which is probably for the best.
Weird. The writer worked on the music, did the music for Speed, The Craft, and 10 Things I Hate About You.
Sweet.
I've seen 2 of those.
But
Right
I
on.
can't find out what else he wrote. I'm just curious because that is probably the weakest part of this movie, other than the skateboarding.
What, the writing? The skateboarding, I mean, they do land the tricks. They're not.
You know what?
They're hard for people that don't know how to skateboard.
They're rocking the intermediary.
I really want
Right,
like
yeah.
a really well done sports movie about skateboarding. I really want it now that I've watched this.
Street Dreams. That's a good one.
Street Dreams.
And that actually, the main roles are like Paul Rodriguez and Rob Dyrdek and oh god, there's
Robin
another-
Big. I bet
But like
Big's
it's
in
all
it.
like the main actors are professional skateboarders. So when like they do the scenes, they're actually doing these lines of skateboarding
Right.
tricks and stuff like that, which is really cool. But also that also makes the acting go downhill because they're not great actors.
Well,
which is why they're professional skateboarders.
It's not that great in this movie either.
That's what I'm saying. But they at least knew how to do the tricks.
I can't
so.
stress enough how they hired a guy to play this super suave guy that did not come off that way at all, and it made it really awkward.
I think it's just because he kind of looked like Matthew McConaughey, I guess.
I mean,
They even stole the whole they
high school
like,
girls agent thing.
Yeah, that
Exactly.
thing. But
They
like
stole
in
that,
the
right?
most creepy way. Instead of being like suave and cool about it, he's just like, yeah, when they're younger, I like it as
I mean-
long as I get older. like
what?
that is not cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great in Dazed and Confused either, but it's like,
He does it better.
But he's supposed to be a skis ball.
yeah, and it's way funnier and way better
Right.
delivered. Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas like this is
Whereas
their friend.
This is the
Yeah.
hero. He is one of the protagonists.
right.
And he's a pedophile. But anyway, so this movie opens up. We get it's Pandora animation. The frame rate for the logo of Grind, I noted, was like in a lower frame rate than the movie was, which I thought was very funny. It's like jittery, like that graphic. So off to a great
They
start.
probably did that on purpose.
Yeah, it was an artistic choice.
We open with a sleepy dog, but it pans out and we see Mike Vogel, who plays Eric Rivers, the main character. He is getting ready. He's looking at his skateboarding trophies. He's got a sign that says Jimmy Wilson is skateboarding. Mike Vogel, I don't know if you know this, Chris. He's the main character in Cloverfield.
I did not know that.
That's because I was like, I know him from something, and I had to look him up. Yeah, he's the main dude in Cloverfield that you follow.
Oh,
around.
yeah. He is, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot
so-
about that. I thought he looked familiar.
Yeah. Somebody nominate Cloverfield because that's a great movie.
I love that movie, except the fact that it makes me nauseous, just the camera work and stuff.
Yeah,
it
it's
really bothers my head, but I want to watch it.
Oh yeah, I love the story of it. Yeah, so and we get this graphic that they do, I think only with the 4 main dudes, but it's like where they like freeze frame with like a color bar, like it's Eric.
Mm-hmm.
which as soon as I saw that his name was Eric, the rest of the movie, all I could think of when he showed up on screen was just, and I'm Eric.
Eric.
So he goes outside. He goes to a skate shop, right? And he's kind of like trying to get some. I don't know what he's trying to get from the owner of the skate shop.
A deck.
He's trying to get
He needs a new deck.
He wants to get sponsored. He wants his skating gear to be free, like just so he can skate and continue and stuff like that, which is what, I mean, I guess any young skater who's like good would want to happen, but
yeah,
I mean, it's not an easy thing to come about.
I will say there was one good trick that happened. Not an actual trick, but I mean like a good writing trick. In this scene, he asks the shop owner if he could have a deck. Because Bam Margera walks in as Bam Margera and he gets 3 of his decks for free from the shop owner, doesn't pay anything, signs one. He seems nice enough. And I didn't even catch it at the time, but he just walks away, right? Knowing that Eric's board is broken. He's like, all right, man, have a good day, right? Later at there's like a stinger, a post-credit scene.
The very end of it. Yeah.
Where he comes into the same
he's
shop.
Successful now.
He's a famous skateboarder now. He gets his decks and there's a kid next to him who has a broken deck. And he gives him one.
Gives it
right?
to
Like
him.
that's because he's a stand-up dude, right?
Yeah, your deck is trash.
And then like now that we know that
Basically.
scene's different, now that we know that Bam's a dick, right?
Right.
Yeah, because I didn't read that as Bam being a dick in the moment.
No,
so that's
I
why
didn't either.
when the heel turn happens for him and halfway in the movie, it kind of blew my mind.
Right.
Yeah, another kind of time capsule moment to tell you that this movie takes place in the early 2000s is when he goes into the shop, he says, "What's up, man?" And the guy goes, "Oh, slightly to the left."
Oh, well, how's it hanging?
How's it hanging? Yeah, how's it hanging? Sorry,
I wish
how's
he
it
said
hanging?
that
Slight-
to what's up. That would be funnier.
Slightly
Rewatching
to
this
the
movie
left.
is, I realized that's why I say slightly to the left. I had no idea where that came from, but I do say that when someone says, "How's it hanging?"
People said that all the time. I remember in the early 2000s. Like as soon as they said it, I was like, "Oh yeah, that was a thing culturally we did."
How come everyone's dick is
Right.
hanging that way?
It was never slightly hanging to the left, but I would say that.
Yeah.
Just because it rolled off the tongue. It's like, actually, it's to the right or sometimes right in the middle,
I don't know.
Depends on how hydrated I am.
And the temperature.
Right.
But he tries to get a free deck from the owner. He's like, "Hey man, you sponsor me. I'll tell everyone where I got it from." And he's like, "For you, $140. Tax not included."
Plus
Right.
tax, yeah.
That's for a full complete. So that's like trucks, wheels, everything. So, because 140 for just a deck would be ridiculous.
I was going to say, I don't know, that seems pricey.
No, that's 140. That's like 150 or 140 to like 180 is like a full complete with like, you can hop on it and start rolling away.
But
Right
just
away.
Just the board would be less.
A deck, like a professional deck is probably like $50-$60. And then like you can get like blanks and stuff for like $25-$30.
Yeah, you just
which
want
is
a
what
board
most
to step on.
like people that skate all the time usually buy blanks and stuff like that. And professional boards are like if you're trying to kind of show off because they're like
They get-
somewhat the same quality,
And they get scraped up and shit quick.
Right.
Pictures and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
which is what you want to do because that
I
means
bought
you've
them
done
on
a
like
bunch of
Tony
tricks.
Hawk's Pro Skater and stuff,
Right. Yeah. So you get it. Yeah.
Customize them on there.
But then he skateboards to what I assume is his high school graduation. We don't see the graduation. I assume we just see the aftermath of it, where he meets Adam Brody's character Dustin in the hallway.
Knocks off his hat.
I know. And then he does that face or whatever. But Adam Brody pulls that off so well.
And then they go back to, I think, Eric's house, right? Where his dad is,
Yes.
where the pool is, and Matt's there.
Yeah.
I made a
Matt's
note.
been sleeping on his couch.
Yeah, but Matt gets his grand entrance where he jumps off the roof and kind of jumps into the pool. And it's hilarious because it's a slow motion shot. But during the fall of him falling from the roof to the pool, Matt screams about 19 times.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Ah! Woo! Oh! Ah! Woo! Like, okay, we could have used one of those.
We get them all, though.
There's just a guy in the editing room like, oh, these are all gold.
That's
are
what I
all
mean
goals.
about
Put
the
'em all in
editing is
there.
part of the biggest problem why this movie doesn't work as well as it should. These are all gold. That's a perfect example of what happened in that editing room.
These are
I
all
couldn't
gold.
decide. They're all in there, baby.
I
We're just
used
gonna put 'em
all
all in.
15 kick flips in the montage, guys.
I feel like
Right. They do that a lot, too. Like they play the same montage of the trick, but then they go back and do the same trick over and over.
that's
Like,
what makes
it's
them
just
seem like
one
not as
kickflip.
good.
Stop doing
Yeah.
it.
Like Marsha Lucas could have made this movie great.
yeah.
I think so.
I don't know who that is.
George Lucas's wife. Is her name not Marsha?
Oh. Actually, I don't know her name off the top of my head. That sounds right. But yeah, if she was editing this, she would have won a goddamn Oscar for role in editing.
I like how Steve just
I didn't know she was an option.
He went, yeah?
We got all quiet. Like, what?
And he waited on me. Explain who this person is that you know.
Maybe it's because, so listener, you can't really tell, but like when I look at Chris, there is, when I look at Chris, even though he's right next to me,
beam of light.
There is a giant mic arm and a giant ring light. So I actually can't see Chris, and I assume he can't see me.
I can.
So when I looked at you
looked through my light
and said, yeah, I did a like, go on.
I saw all of that. I can see you both clearly. I was like, oh, they're just staring at each other.
But after Matt makes his big debut, Christopher McDonald comes out. He is Eric's dad. He asks when the moron is leaving the premises. Talking about Matt. He has a younger woman who he is married to because Matt says, like, dude, your stepmom is so hot.
Oh, dude.
So hot.
They are both rocking monos. I think that's
Monos?
I thought they were
Kimonos.
rose, but I guess, yeah, they're matching, though. That's for
I
sure.
want a fucking kimono.
They were short. They were like, we saw some Christopher McDonald thigh, which I'm here for.
Yeah.
I know how it's hanging.
Yeah. To the left.
No, his is hanging
it.
straight down.
Due north.
Right.
At some point, Adam said, or Dustin says something about how like he did the math and there are 1 million wannabes, but only about 53 dudes who make money actually skating. And so that's their goal. They want to make it big. They want to be pro. But in the meantime, they work at a fast food chili joint.
Beans and such or some shit. Chilies and such.
Chili and such. That's what it is.
Chili and such.
Yeah.
What a terrible fast food restaurant idea.
Yes.
Just beans.
They even show like montages of the food. Like it looks horrible. It's just,
It does.
Yeah.
it sounds
Oh, and
so
it's the
gross.
fucking it's the guy from Barry is his boss, isn't it?
Stephen Root. Yeah.
Yeah, Stephen Root. Duh.
Yeah,
It's like
Stephen
there's some
Root.
big guys in this, some heavy hitters in this.
I know. Yeah. That's the cool thing
And the
about
core-
it.
He's clearly like living off of his office space.
He's employee of the month. Yes.
Yeah, I do love how he's the manager, but also the employee of the month.
Mich Stiepler.
It's a nice little touch.
He earned it.
Mich Stiepler.
But we get a nice little cameo from Brian Posehn, who, like, let's be honest, Brian Posehn would be eating at a trash fast food
100%.
chili.
He would be
joint.
at Chili's and such. And
I
lying
really would like some more
about
chili.
not getting the Gutbuster order done
He's
correctly.
like, it's not my fault that I didn't realize it until after I finished the entire thing.
That's true. He's
Are
got
you
a
sure
point.
you need another one? You want to go to the bathroom first?
Do we need the adult back here?
Can you get the adult back here? Do you remember when one of the craziest cameos ever was when Brian Posehn was in The Mandalorian? Like the very first episode of Mandalorian. It
Dude.
still blows my fucking mind. He was in the very first episode. He's like the taxi driver that picks him up from the bar to go back to his ship in the very beginning. And he's like, get in.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're at the beans and such. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, beans and no
chili and
chilies and
such.
such,
Chili and
man.
such,
God
chili and
damn.
such.
There's beans in it, though.
But Dustin's trying to make
such.
college fun because he's going to college in the fall.
I know, and he saved up $800 to go to college,
That's
but
enough.
unfortunately
That's
has
all
to
you
blow
need.
it.
That's all you need is $800.
Man,
This is even in early 2000s. That's not nearly
no, that didn't even cut it in the early 2000s, my
Yeah,
man.
even with inflation, that's like $2,200.
Yeah.
It gets in one class, I think, that semester.
For a semester.
I could buy
Yeah.
books for the semester.
Yeah.
If that.
I do like the little bit where Stephen Root comes out of the bathroom. He's like, "Oh, we got a problem in the bathroom," and Dustin's like, "Was a big tall guy."
Was it a big tall guy? Yeah.
Definitely was Brian
With
Posehn.
glasses.
But he needs Eric to put on the bean suit. I need you in the bean suit. We got a birthday party. Some awful parent.
I was gonna say that.
Who needs to be put on a watch list took their kid to a birthday party at
At a
Chili and
fast
such.
food restaurant.
I mean, you could go to Chuck E. Cheese. That's a great place to be a kid.
Yeah,
Well,
but
back-
I'm imagining like as a McDonald's.
But what
and they're asking
10-year-old's
for
like, God, I want some beans, Dad.
no one, not a single one.
Well, you know, back in the 90s, I think an argument could have been made for like going to a birthday party at McDonald's because they had like the play
Right,
places and all that
Sure.
stuff.
So it's
But
worse than
not-
McDonald's.
Not here.
Yeah.
Not here.
No kid wants beans.
No kid wants chili.
It's like a McDonald's version of Chipotle, and that's where the kids want to go. Like there's no family fun there.
But this is like the first like really weird. I wrote down as a pointless scene. It's not, but it's very weird where he's in the bean suit. He's doing like the Sheriff Bean thing. And then is the first time we see Jamie played by Jennifer Morrison. And there's just this weird like where it does like a Sam Raimi, like the camera like runs up to him and it sees her and then he looks at her and then it just ends. Like They don't talk to each other.
Did anyone get
bonkers?
Did you get a feeling like, because he looks down for a second, because after he looks at her, he looks down for a second. I didn't know if whether he was looking down and embarrassed that he was in a bean suit or that he had an erection. I wasn't sure. And I still don't know to this day.
Jake, I like to imagine both reasons.
I know. See, that's what I'm saying. He's embarrassed. He's in the suit with an erection.
I'm laughing so hard because I was so embarrassed that I thought they were implying that he had a boner.
Okay, yeah. So
and I was like, obviously he's just realizing he's in a bean suit, and that's okay. Duh, God,
that
I'm
makes
wild.
more sense. Yeah,
good, because he's at a birthday party, and I hope that's not what they're implying.
He could have a huge hog. That's hard though. Just piercing through the bean suit.
No, that's the end. Such
that would ruin the kid's birthday party. That's for sure.
Sir, I'm at eye level.
I'm right here. You're poking me.
So then we get our first skating montage, which, I do have to say, again, as someone who doesn't know if the tricks they're doing is good, anytime I saw a skating montage, all I wanted to do was say, "Go flip!" Because that's all I wanted.
Just do a whole flip. That's a very uncommon thing to do on a skateboard.
I thought the trick he did at the end, like the big...
the one that looks like he messed up and just happened to luckily land it.
He like passes the board behind him and spin like the big...
Oh, that's a finger flip. But the way he does it, it's a 540. It looks like a flip, but it's not. It's a 540 with like a finger flip. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
It was very impressive.
Yeah,
that was a good build up.
Yeah.
Even though that scene again went on way too long, I thought he beat him like 3 times.
Yeah, every time that they failed, he's like, I got to do it again.
And then the one dude literally like knocks his board out from under him,
which is cheating. I know. I don't know where. Like no one. And everyone in the crowd's like, that's fair. All right, he's allowed to do that. I'm like, no, he's not.
Like he just stabs him.
That's super dangerous.
Were they? We'll get to it.
Yeah.
So this is the scene where Matt walks up to says, "Hey, are you cold?"
Yes.
That's the scene that you like.
Talking about boobs.
But then they look at Jimmy Wilson.
This movie BEWBS, and it would have been like you'd know more what you were getting.
I had to spell that out in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, because Jimmy Wilson, they obviously are huge fans of Jimmy Wilson.
Jimmy W.
He shows up at one point. Dustin says, "No bruised fruit or breasts in that medley." What? Talking about his groupies, I assume. And then I honestly don't know. Oh, okay. This is my note. Matt does a mommy on a girl.
Oh yeah, mommy.
Yeah. And then he has what is quite possibly the worst pickup line of all time, where he holds up his gross ass cast and goes, "You think it smells like pepperoni or ass crack?
Got more money
I got
on
$5 on pepperoni."
Right, like why wouldn't that work?
You're so gross. Like, why would you say that? What is that leading to?
And then don't they like usher him away? And he's like, "It was working, guys.
Yeah, yep.
I had her in the palm of my hands."
Shockingly, it was not.
He's not able to master such sweet pickup lines as "What's up? Want to make out?"
Oh yeah,
yeah. Not as much as Matthew McConaughey. He's killing it.
What's up? This is when we get like,
which maybe that was on purpose because Jason London was in Dazed and Confused, and so. Like the guy who plays Jimmy Wilson, maybe that was the whole character. Maybe that was intentional in some weird way. I don't know. Otherwise, it's a weird coinky dink.
Coinky dink. There's a lot of Dazed and Confused references in this movie, but I did like there at one point. There's like some music playing. I didn't write down the name of the song that was playing. Pretty solid soundtrack, by the way, on this movie.
For the most part. A couple of the early ones really threw me off. Like the first song is like flickety flickety flick on your clit and your butt, or some
there's
shit like that.
Random like hip hop ones that are like, whoa, where did this come from?
So I was watching with the subtitles on.
Yeah.
And usually when songs play in movies like that, the subtitles would just say, "This song is playing," right?
Right.
They play the whole lyrics.
The subtitles are like giving you the lyrics, but at one point, like it's clear a point in the song where the guy just like drops some F-bombs or something, so it's bleeped out, and then the subtitles go, "Talks indiscriminately."
It's true.
That was funny.
They're not wrong. Yeah.
Let's see. At one point, Jimmy Wilson comes out of his tour bus arm in arm with the woman that Matt was just hitting on. He's like, "Oh, it pinched me." Yeah.
He almost had her with that pepperoni line.
This is Jamie recognizes Eric's part 1, the first time that she walks by again, but she just keeps on walking past them. Matt announces breastises.
Breastises, yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, breastises. Yeah. And then camera cuts. There indeed are 3 sets of boobs, 6
That's
individual
breastises,
boobs.
yeah.
That is a plural amount of breastises.
A group of breasts. I think it's breastises. Like a murder of
true.
crows.
This man is out of control because he walks up to them and says, I'm working for the Release the Twins Foundation. Would you like to do a donation? And she's like, what does that mean? And
Like, come on.
Release the twins. Yeah.
You know what he means.
Boobs. Again, back to the
not why I
title
said
of the
come
movie.
Boobs.
But so like he strikes out again because he's a gross slob, right? And the guys are kind of like, dude, you're messing up. What are you doing? And this is when he has maybe his funniest line in the movie because he's like, I've had sex.
Oh, yeah. I
Dustin
did
says,
laugh.
Yeah, but with a human though. And then there's just this long pause where he goes, Who's making these rules, man?
Who's making these rules, man?
That was a good joke.
Honestly, really
I
funny.
laughed a lot.
Who's making these rules?
Like he's like genuinely exasperated. Like I can't win. You know.
Thought I was doing good. Apparently
making these
not.
rules? That's a funny joke. He's supposed to be a stifler, but he doesn't have quite the charisma for it, and he's like a little too gross. You know what
He's
I mean?
only gross and misogynistic. That's it. Like, and they're blaming. And he thinks that he's not getting action because he's not a pro skater, but it's really just because of his horrible words that he's throwing at
And
these
lack
women.
of hygiene.
That
but
too.
he's
I keep
also-
forgetting he smells the entire
But
time.
ultimately, he's just so angry that his parents are clowns.
we don't
So
know that
bad,
yet,
yeah.
though. We don't know. We just know he hates clowns once he beats one up.
Yeah, when he beat that clown up the first time, I'm like, what the fuck was that about?
I hate clowns, man.
One time, he's actually about to get laid, and he says, "Oh, me too." And she's like, "Oh, you're from Springfield? No, I'm looking for pro skaters."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I always talk to the gay
Talk
guy."
to the gay guy. What?
That little montage of him fucking with the passed out drunk dude, even though the editing was terrible.
Oh, where he's like,
It's terrible editing because it's on the same staircase he was just on, and that guy wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it's super weird and like jarring, but that was funny. Like he's like,
he's like,
but anyway, go on, Steve. I jump ahead.
Oh, they go to Jimmy Wilson's tour bus. There's a scary like security guy.
Scary.
The tour manager, played by David Foley.
oh, with the
there.
burnt face on the side or whatever.
That's not David Foley, but yeah, that's the security guy.
The Scarface guy is the guy from fucking Bloodsport and Street Fighter.
Oh, really?
Yes. I don't know if you guys are a big fan of Bloodsport, but he plays Jean-Claude Van Damme's
I've never
like
seen this. Yeah.
great buddy in there.
Rick Martins?
And then Street Fighter, he plays
Is this a live action Street Fighter?
Yes, not Guile, but he's one of the early Street Fighter 1 characters that everybody always played. It doesn't matter.
Ken?
E Honda?
No.
That'd be sweet.
No, the guy with the mohawk. He's
Akuma?
huge. Is that his
No.
name?
Akuma's the fire
green
dude.
guy?
Is he green? I thought he was red like Guile.
That's Akuma then. Akuma, the one
Yes,
that Sean
Akuma.
has tattooed on his leg.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
that's
so.
Akuma. Yeah.
Anyway, good times.
Well, they're trying to give this guy demo tapes, but he has like a whole like
Bus full of them.
bus full.
That's the ones we
literally,
got today.
He opens them up and like tapes come out, and it's honestly, this movie's introducing
waste of
characters that I
space.
want to see more of. Like I would love to have seen more of Eric's dad. I would have loved to have seen more of Foley, Mr. Foley's tour manager character, just because he's so like, yeah, these are from today. No, you can kick him out now. Like this is the way how like just laid back and like, yeah, I fucking hate these kids. Get out of my face. Like,
Yeah, man.
that's a good
Right, yeah.
villain to have, but we don't get that.
We just go back and focus on the 4 people
Yeah.
the whole movie.
Like I said, there's a fucking Rob Reiner directed version of this somewhere.
Where it's
that's
just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Rob Reiner. She's so hot. You ever see New Girl? Watch New Girl?
Sometimes, yeah.
The movie? No.
He plays Jessica Day's dad.
No, the show with Zooey Deschanel.
Is that what we're
I
talking
assume
about?
he means.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Yeah,
either.
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. But Rob Reiner plays her dad, and there's like a scene where he's in love, and so he keeps singing, "She's so hot," and that's all I think about Rob
Needle
Reiner.
drop song.
So now they're kind of like trying to make a game plan. How are they going to make it big? So Eric decides to make his own company called Super Duper Skates.
Which I love.
He's got T-shirts made because, as we've established in this movie, people love free swag, so they got the T-shirts. And it's going to give them credibility to have a company actually sponsor them, even though it's a made-up company.
It's not real. Yeah.
Luckily, they have a nest egg, and that is good old Dustin and his college fund money. He will be the sponsor.
$800.
Yeah, all $800.
That's all they
of it.
need.
This is when we get the slug bug with Mr. Rivers, which is honestly kind of funny. And then Matt cuts off his cast Smells awful, but they need a fourth person. Is this true? Do you have to have 4 people for a team to skate?
I have never been into a skate competition or anything like that. I don't believe so. I've seen some, and they're not teams. Like everybody's
this isn't
like solo.
They turned it into Cool Runnings.
I guess like a bunch of them are like they're sponsored by like the same companies and stuff like that, but it's all about like who wins.
Well, it's like NASCAR. They have teams as well, but even though they're solo, right? Like Shake and Bake.
Right.
Shake and Bake.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a real thing. I feel like there's enough pro skaters in the movie that it has to be a thing, or that would be weird.
Well, I didn't know that. So when they were like, we need a 4th person, I was kind of like, oh, do you? And then they go and find Sweet Lou.
The one person that has a car.
Man.
So the
coincidence? I think not.
Journey off immediately without old creepy Lou.
That's true.
But the first time we meet Lou, he's hitting on a couple women, telling them, I like the way you guys smell. At first, he's not into the idea of going off and doing the skate competition because he's got everything he needs right here.
Everything.
Which is just hanging out by a playground.
I think it was a skate park, wasn't it?
But yeah, he apparently graduated 6 years ago and just kind of hangs in there and picks up women. He calls them by the days of the week that he has scheduled to hang out with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he points at the 2 girls he was just talking about, like, you just looked at my Tuesday. You should see Friday.
You should see Friday.
Luckily, Wednesday, not to be confused with Wednesday Addams, arrives. But her real name's Sandy, and apparently her dad is upset about, I guess, what Lou and her did. So he's got a baseball bat, and all of a sudden Lou is like, I'm okay with going cross country. Let's go. Hop on in the van.
He's got a Marines shirt on too, so that implies he's probably on the Marines baseball team. And I didn't know that's where I was going with it.
No, I had no idea.
But yeah, so they're getting the van all loaded up, which, by the way, isn't it appropriate that Lou drives a van?
It's just pointing in the wrong direction the whole time. But unless that's where they were going with it.
So this is the coolest shot of the movie. I don't know. Did you take notice of this, Chris?
Did you like the graffiti switch up?
So here's the thing.
Because it was jarring.
When it first happened, I was taking notes. And so what it does, like Matt comes up with spray paint. It's like, oh, I'm gonna spray paint this van. And
that's what he says.
That's what I thought. That's the feeling I got from it when I saw it. Yeah.
And it follows Sweet Lou as he walks away. The camera slowly pans back, and all of a sudden the van has a full, super awesome decal on it. And so I looked down, and when I looked up, like, oh, it kind of took me by surprise. Like, wow, this is some filmmaking that they haven't done yet. That's kind of
interesting. It's kind of a one-er pan with a hidden cut.
I rewound it, and I was like, oh, there's a hidden cut when Sweet Lou closes the door in the van is where the cut is. And I had missed that initially. So it wasn't nearly as impressive as I thought it was at first, because at first I'm like, did they have another van like off frame that like sped up and took its place? No, there's just a match cut like halfway through the motion.
Still,
that's very obvious.
I didn't notice it, so it looked great. So
I mean, to be fair, like there is a match cut. It is kind of obvious, but I did think this was super creative and cool, and this is my favorite shot of the movie. Like, do more of this stuff. I like it. They don't. Yeah, not at all. They're mostly like, hey, is
one and done.
We're shooting outside. Is the camera overexposed? Don't fucking worry about it. Well, they kidnap Dustin from the chili shop. Mr. Knight, the manager, Stephen Root, goes chasing after them. You have not punched out, or no, I'm sorry, Dustin's last name is Knight. You have not punched out Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight, come back.
Got to clock out.
It's true.
And
I guess so you don't get fired from leaving your job,
from quitting. He's got a couple of hours of pay there at least.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get that. Yeah.
So this is when we arguably, would you guys agree? This is when we meet the antagonist of the movie, the Blue Crew, the dudes in the Escalade.
Kind of.
Yeah, I don't want to say. Yeah.
Ultimately, they
gangsters.
Oh yeah, you definitely can't say what they call them.
Yeah,
no, you cannot.
But I was having that conversation with my mom earlier. I was like, "That's a word. We don't say that anymore."
Yeah, I do like the audio cue that plays. Like these guys listen to one song.
Oh my god, that's it. Yep.
Is that the same song that's always playing in their car?
Hey dog, hey dog,
hey dog, hey dog, hey dog. My dog's
gonna be stuck in my head the rest of the night.
My dog's
It's the only song playing in the back, and it's only when they open up the trunk.
Their Escalade's broken, and it's all it plays.
I love the joke that they do when we first see him, like in the back there. He's like, it smells like roses.
I feel like there's a bunch of scenes as long as the movie needs to be 15 minutes shorter, but I think that it was much longer and they cut some important stuff. Like the reason that those guys hate our main characters so much.
There's no reason why they should hate them.
Well, it's because Matt's board got stuck in their windshield. But they
don't know that.
That's way after. Though.
I feel like they cut out the scene where they realized that.
Yeah. Because they pull it out of their windshield, but there's never like a
no one's caught for it or anything.
Several things happen to this Escalade, and these guys never react to it.
We never got to see them reacting to stolen.
We never see to them having it getting stolen. The windshield, when they're throwing like firecrackers and shit into their Escalade, they no sell it.
Yeah.
Like they're like, that's their whatever.
We still got you with this milkshake. Yeah.
Yeah, we got you, buddy. Yeah.
Got you.
That whole thing was extended too. They just kept doing stuff to each other on the highway and it never ended. And that
also,
they cut back to that guy's asshole like 4 times.
Right.
But he was covering his asshole with his hand because it's PG-13.
Well, thank God. Yeah. You can't see the hole. Then it's fine.
Won't like someone think of the children?
Yeah. But also, like my experience
Sweet
with,
Lewis.
I've been with friends that like have done competitions and stuff like that where skaters are so friendly. Like there's not these like cliques and stuff mostly.
Sure.
From my experience with skate parks, like everybody's super inclusive with everything. There's not like this one group that's like that thinks they're way cooler than the other groups and they just don't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of a weird, like if you're a skateboarder who's been in skate parks like and met a bunch of people, you don't meet those group of people that are just like haters the entire time and don't want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants to skate together.
Well, you need it's like high school movies, even the ones that are really good. Like 10 Things I Hate About You, I think is like a 5-star movie. I love it.
I've never seen that.
But like every high school movie has like those, there's the goths and like there are cliques in high school, but they're not as well defined as they are in the movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're all like warriors, gangs or something.
Warriors.
Can you dig it?
Warriors. Would you say on the skate park that everyone is?
They're just like, hey dog, hey dog, hey dog. You gonna hit that rail? Hey dog, hey dog. Yeah. The only people that people hate at the skate parks are the little kids on the scooters that just like, instead of going straight through the route that you're going to, they're going, like the opposite direction, going like side to side, and they just run into you. That's the only thing people
Perpendicular.
hate. Yeah. No one wants that.
We call them the perpendiculars.
Everybody else is doing great.
Well, they drive all the way from Chicago to Kansas to compete in this event, but they're not registered. This is when we talk to the quote unquote hot mama, the pregnant woman who is the
director's wife.
The director's wife. She tells them to tell their sob story somewhere else. We're all full in here, and
She's already been hooked up.
Sweet Lou tries to hook up with her, but already been hooked up. Matt,
He's so
continues to
horrified that she's pregnant.
He's like, oh,
Your Matt just
responsibility.
stays there and stares at her like, oh my God, a woman can get pregnant?
Well, I think Matt was just looking at her breastises, as he would call it.
Oh, he was just blown by that.
So they go out in the parking lot and just
Skate the lot, man.
Shred. Matt eats some shit, sprains his taint. The medical emergency, the way they treat it is by putting some soda pop on it.
I thought it was really cool how their van converted into like a skatable thing. I thought that was neat.
That was cool. Yeah.
I will
the
say
way
that.
they had like a ramp on top or like that little, like the flat top to make it into like a pyramid that goes over the hood and stuff. That would be super cool. I never experienced that, but
They're like a lot skate ready.
Oh yeah.
They're like lot lizards.
You got to be ready to shred.
that's a real thing though. I've seen that. Like, and I've also, back when I had my little Saturn, like, I'm not going to lie, I had tried to grind my bumper and I slid on it for a second, but I mean, that was it.
Yeah,
But
like
I mean, I tried, so it's a thing.
Tail grind.
It was like a back, or
bump and
actually, no,
grind?
it was like a front tail. So,
I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
Yeah, you have
it
to
was
get
already scratched up and stuff. I wasn't afraid of that.
No bumper grind. There's
Bumper grind, yeah.
wrong with a little bumper grind.
Little bump and grind,
This is when so Matt gets his board lodged in the Escalade windshield. We don't see the comeuppance from that. This is when Matt punches a clown and says he hates them. I do appreciate the movie did spend a moment to say, hey, this person's about to be punched. We don't want you to feel too bad for him. We're going to show him being a creep, asking women who their daddy is. But again, how is he different from everyone else in this movie?
Right, yeah. He's not. He's doing exactly what they do the entire time, but he's a clown.
He's a clown. So fuck
he hates
that
clowns.
guy.
Yeah, he hates them.
I did like this. The limo, like a Hummer limo rolls up. And of course, the Blue Crew's showing up. They open up the doors. they're
There's
going
literally
in.
just have that queued up.
But I did like Eric's idea of like going through the back and pretending
That's
that they're with
genius,
him.
right?
That was
Yeah.
like honestly a really good idea. And they get into this club that they got turned away from. This is where I think you get a bunch of the like the cameos, right? For a bunch of like skateboarders, like because that's in this scene, right? Where they go into the
He does
Yeah.
at least one. I wasn't familiar with him other than the Jackass Crew and Bam. I don't know any of these skateboarders.
I looked him up.
There's a
but
guy
also,
making out on the couch that he
Yeah,
says
it was
by
just
name.
a bunch of names. I don't really nothing crazy. It wasn't like Rodney Mullen or anything
Yeah,
like that.
like you didn't play
It
them
was-
in THPS too.
Right, yeah. Not someone, yeah, it's not any of those people. But they are professional skateboarders, so, you know.
But immediately Eric's like, all right, guys, we're about business.
Fan out.
Fan out. We've got to get sponsored. Let's go. And they immediately don't do that.
Eric's the only one that tries.
Right, in a super awkward way.
Yeah, he goes right up to a guy who's clearly like trying to
Like,
score.
oh, are you hitting on this super hot chick right now?
Wanna watch my demo tape?
Here's my demo
Here's
tape.
a floppy disk.
We're at a bar. Do you want my VHS of my like skateboarding? No.
No, he's giving him like a little video that comes straight out of the old
Like a
camcorder.
Oh,
like a
so
DV?
even worse. A
Is that what it's
small
called?
one.
Like a DV tape.
yeah. That's before they got the other D.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They're missing
Missing
a
a
D.
D.
Dustin tries to make out with a woman. She's not interested, but Sweet Lou just what's up her. And that works.
You missed. Oh, he did say, hold on, let me get you another glass of bitch.
Yeah.
I actually didn't hate his style where he's just like, what's your name? She ignores him. What was that?
Oh, then he looks at the other people making out. And he's like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
I wish the editing would have like did a couple takes of him going, what was that? What was that?
Right.
Huh? Come again?
Because they
What was that?
split it up a bunch of times and it was so weird the way
He
they
comes
did.
back. What?
So Sweet Lou is talking to so he ends up striking with her. Eric doesn't get his shot, but he sees Bam Margera in the party and he's like, you know what? Jamie's also dancing with him. So he goes to talk to them as he's talking with Jamie. And this is when I was like, hold on. They're going after this. What's his name? Jimmy Wilson?
Yeah. That's
They're
the
going after
professional. Yeah.
this Jimmy cat the whole time. He obviously has some type of rapport with Bam. Clearly.
Right.
Bam recognizes him. They kind of know each other. Why doesn't he ask Bam? Why are they going after Jimmy this whole time? That was driving me nuts.
They never explained that. Yeah.
That was
I know.
driving me nuts this whole movie. And then they finally like address it in a bonkers way.
Yes.
So I'm glad that happened because the whole time, like, why are they going after this dud? You got Bam Margera right there. Anyway, he starts talking to Jamie, but before he can make any move, that's when their song comes on, Bust a Move. And they all start doing their dance moves, which are terrible. Dustin's literally doing the robot.
That is the worst.
I know. It's like organized. That's their dance.
It was supposed to be
and it's
cool.
not,
Like, oh, it's
yeah.
our song, guys. And it was like that. It looks like you just made that up a second ago. Like even like
I'm
Jenna
surprised
Ortega
people
made up
stopped
the
to let them
Wednesday
dance.
dance that took the world by storm by herself a couple days before they shot it. It was so much better than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on right now?
I like to think that's why security threw them out. It wasn't because the Blue Crew came in and said, hey,
Hey, dog, get him.
Hey, dog. Hey, dog. Hey,
Yeah, why
dog,
did they
get him
see
out of
those
here.
guys and just like, why were they able to get them kicked out? They were already, you know what I mean?
They're like
Hey,
the most popular pros
Hey,
of this
you're
crew.
making
apparently.
everybody happy and look at you and clap right now. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
We don't like fun in here.
but they don't kick out.
Go in the other weird room and make out.
They don't kick out Sweet Lou though.
No, he's up in that weird silhouette spanking.
Spanking.
Damn, like it's like the red light district or something.
Yeah. So
Where's
weird.
Lou?
There's a little bit of bullying happening between Matt and Dustin in the van, but this is when, of course, they're driving and then the Escalade shows back up.
His finger, I can see it going towards it.
Hey, dog.
The Blue Crew throws a firecracker in there. They retaliate with
I
their
like
own
to think about
firecracker.
all the listeners listening to this without watching Grind because some people do that. They're just fond of us, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And every time you play that song, they're like, "What the fuck? I
Why
have
do
to
they
watch
keep
this movie."
doing that? Yeah.
Guys,
It's
Dude.
important. Don't worry.
that might get annoying because I keep doing it. I'm not joking you. The movie does the same
It's
thing.
100%. It's a plot point. It's important.
Hey, dog.
Hey dog, hey dog, hey dog.
I guess it's kind of like Darth Vader has the Imperial March. Like
it's literally at that
that's their
same
music.
level. Yeah. Like, it's just like Darth Vader's song.
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah.
cool.
There's John Williams, and then
please edit Darth Vader coming down like a walkway with "Hey dog,
Hey dog, hey dog. That would be just as intimidating. I think so. I'm like, oh God, don't mess with him.
the Emperor is not as forgiving as I am.
Hey dog, hey dog, hey dog.
But they eventually get to a motel. It's got a pool. The pool is in a rough state though, but they end up going and meeting Bobcat Goldthwait, who's wearing a heavy metal rule shirt that is maybe 3 sizes too small for him, and some shorts that are maybe 6 sizes too small for him.
Do they like check him out, like thinking he's a woman at first, and then turn around, like get surprised when he turns around?
Oh, when he's like talking to the squirrel?
Yeah. Because
I don't know
it
if that
zooms
was
in on
the
his
case.
ass crack, and then like I forget who approaches him, but they seem shocked when
He turns around
Yeah.
like, oh, a man.
right, and it was just weird to me.
Because there's one thing we all are synonymous with Bobcat Goldthwait, and that is his feminine hips.
Oh, sweet ass, yeah, for sure.
He's got that cake.
I'm trying. Who is this person? What scene is this?
This is
It's
the
the
hotel
swimming pool, the hotel guy that ends
Hotel
up in
manager.
their honeymoon suite with them.
God, you keep saying Bob.
Bobcat
Goldthwait.
Goldthwait.
Is that his real name?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really
Oh,
popular.
Okay. Now I know what scene we're talking about. Okay.
He's done a ton of stuff in like the
like
80s.
the Police Academy
Police
movies.
Academy.
okay.
I don't know. Like that dude.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. See, I didn't know.
But
He is great though.
Bobcat impersonator. But he's a stand-up comic
The,
too.
Yeah.
the undid little Daisy Dukes with the top button out and stuff like
Yes,
that.
top
Love
button
it.
done.
he had a good meal
Like
before
just
that.
had Thanksgiving dinner, right.
But they strike a deal with him. You know, if
Hey,
they clean the
man.
pool, he can crash there for the
Dog.
night.
How about I clean your pool for a night's stay? That's a good deal.
It was only $10 an hour, $40 for the night. So
There was so much shit in that pool. I'm definitely
dude,
not doing that.
That would not have taken them.
That would have
less
taken
than a
them.
day.
That was a day's work.
What are they doing with that debris? What are they doing with all that rubbish?
it's just like
just
a big pile right at the beginning of the pool.
Yeah, I just cleaned
We're
it
just
for you.
pushing it out. Okay.
Hey man, if I had anywhere to put that shit, I'd have done it myself.
Right.
Fuck off.
It's out though.
But they clean the pool. Sorry, I had something in my throat.
I think Yoda hopped on for a second.
Clean the pool, they did.
They did.
Matt,
Did you see that meme I sent you? Did you laugh?
which meme?
Where it's like Yoda in the first movie, the original trilogy, just cute and stuff, and you didn't watch it.
It's like Yoda's problematic, basically.
Yeah, and then Yoda in the second movie does backflips and war crimes.
War crimes, yeah.
Sorry.
But Matt is their videographer. We find out he's the one that's got the camera. It's a pretty nice camera for the time, I should say. The Bobcat brings out a couch that he's riding on, but he gives him the honeymoon suite where they find some manties in the bed.
I love that they call them that mantis. It's so quick too.
But then there's this. Okay, so this is my notes. They're lying in bed. They're all shirtless. Eric is worried. Dustin is still pissed at him, but Dustin's like, "Hey man, we're having good times, whatever." And in my note, I said, "If they fell in love right now, it would save this movie."
It would.
If Dustin turned over and you could tell like they're in love, oh my god, I'd be like, "Okay, I'm in."
I need to tell you something.
I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind
Me neither.
between friends.
I brought the bean suit.
But they were meant to do this, Dustin says, but this touching moment in the bean suit is disrupted.
I brought the bean suit.
Is disrupted by Matt farting. He says greetings from the interior, which is a great line.
Tell me you don't say that a bunch when you fart.
Oh, no,
As a huge fan of this movie.
Honestly,
Greetings from the
no.
interior.
Because my dad, he always, every time I fart or burp, I say baking powder. I don't know why he does, but he's done it since I was a child. So that's just, that's my thing.
Baking powder.
Baking powder, yeah.
Next time you fart, for me, say greetings from the interior.
I will now. Yeah, I got you.
Not here. At home.
But
I
then
think I
someone
got
else
else
farts. It's not Matt. It's
even worse.
Bobcat. He's under the bed. He asks for his manties back, and
Sorry,
they
that
all,
was
I guess,
me.
yeah. Sorry, it was me.
He's just under the bed with no bottoms on.
He's Donald Ducking it down there.
Shirt cocking it.
But they kick rocks. We get the obligatory skating over stuff transition. Matt has a skateboard toilet somehow.
They had a bunch of debris from the pool.
That was cool. Yeah, I just figure like they found that and they were like, hey, that would be like a cool skate demo clip.
Right, just pulling out stuff from the pool. Obviously, you're going to play with some of it. Like, there's going to be some weird stuff down there.
Like the vagrant.
Yeah, or like the toilet.
That vagrant. This is when Sweet Lou throws on the poison. And
Which is a big deal.
Again, I'm going to read to you verbatim what my notes say. Sweet Lou throws on some poison. What is this? He's singing along with the song, but incorrectly. Why is this? Why was this not cut? It's still going on. It's still happening. Oh my God, what is happening?
I love that you said the same thing. Like, I can't believe they used this take.
Maybe it was just super realistic. Like, who hasn't been in a car? You get super pumped for a song.
No.
You get ready to sing it, and then you get a couple words wrong.
Sure,
you haven't done that?
If I'm trying to make an epic, impressive thing, like I can sing every word to the Gorillaz Clint Eastwood verse and chorus. That's impressive to most people.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But if I fuck a couple of them up and I tried to film that, I wouldn't like
Especially
send
if you're
it to
making a movie.
you.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That makes sense.
I wouldn't send you
like
that
if I'm
video.
making a movie and you edit it and stuff like that, you would fix it. I get what you're saying. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway.
Speaking of scenes that need to be cut down, they go to Chili and such because they're hungry. And as established, we have Chekhov's customer policy, which is if you have a receipt, and you're a customer and you have a receipt,
get all that
you can get all that food right
Yes,
back.
But they decide to have a kid vomit on the receipt in a plot twisty way.
They didn't
and then
decide.
just ask the guy. No, I mean the writers and directors.
Okay, yeah.
And then ask the guy if he can have food. And the guy's like, sure. And that's the end of the scene. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm sure they gave him the receipt.
That's, that's the opposite of setup and payoff.
Luckily, they found a receipt that said they needed 5 gut bombs and 5.
They don't use that receipt.
Are you sure? I would
Just,
imagine
like, there's
he
vomit
holds
on it and they just abandon the plan, I feel like.
He doesn't drop the receipt. He still uses it, I think.
The dude in the drive-thru's like, oh, I remember that receipt. Pull forward.
He said, I remember
and
the
then
order.
He hands him,
Yeah, pull forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like,
it was
yeah,
a
come on
recent
up.
receipt. That's why it was on the top of the trash.
But
Yeah.
the whole vomit thing was so weird.
Yeah, I think so. To your point, I think this was a longer scene that they cut down because not only is the kid thing so out of nowhere and there's no real resolution to the vomit thing, but also Matt pops up for a second, but he's got a megaphone out of nowhere and he's screaming at them through a megaphone.
Yes.
It's like, okay, there was clearly something else happening with this megaphone and with this kid that we did not see in the final cut, and I'm interested to see what it
Did you
could
watch
be.
the little bit after the credits where they
A little bit.
kind of showed the bloopers? Well, they showed
I had to
him.
rush here.
They showed the kid doing that exact scene where it's
the hose is
fake-
off?
Yeah, but then the kid actually throws up because he's sitting there trying to act and he's just like, oh well, and then he throws. It's hilarious
Because they do that thing with forced perspective where there's a hose behind him,
But
and
then
he's
he
just
actually
opening
throws
his
up.
mouth. But yeah, he actually throws up, trying to act too hard.
Wow.
It wasn't as projectile-y, but he definitely threw up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny. So they end up going to this skate shop called the Animal Chin Skate Shop, where Jimmy Wilson was apparently
Famously.
discovered.
Founded, yeah.
And of course, this is where in my notes I'd say this movie would fill right in with a Tom Green appearance, and then Tom Green
Boom.
shows up as
You
the
manifested it.
owner or worker of the skate shop. Jake, you seem to really love Tom Green in this scene.
Oh, dude, he's amazing because he's just okay. So they're asking him questions like about this
Jimmy Wilson.
Jimmy Wilson's like show or like tour or whatever. Like
The
when
demo.
he was the demo. That's the word I was looking for. Demo. And then the whole time, like Tom Green's just like, yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy was like, shh. Like just imitating all the grinds. He was like, oh yeah, it was like Jimmy, like when's he gonna be there? It's like, oh yeah, Jimmy Saturday. Like, oh, and Jimmy was like, shh. And he's like, today is Sunday. The demo was Saturday. It's like, so it already
Saturday
happened.
+1.
Saturday, yeah, he says
Like
that.
the whole-
Saturday
like the
plus
joke-
1 is Sunday.
The joke lands, but like everything else in this movie, it goes just a little too
Yeah, this
long.
went way too
Oh
long.
yeah.
And like,
I could have watched Tom Green a little bit longer though, dude. The little
well, that's the thing.
grinding.
They're in that sweet spot of shittiness for every joke because like if you went a little bit longer, it would become funny again because of the absurdity factor.
Right.
But they just let it linger into, you know what I mean? It's like the worst, the
It peters
exact
out.
wrong
The
spot.
energy peters out.
It peters.
Well, the other, I mean, even showing their reactions and stuff, like after how frustrated they were, like they show Adam Brody, like at some point they were just like, so it already happened, and he's like sitting there like Saturday, and then just Adam Brody just walks out, which is hilarious, and then they show Matt just sitting there like his brain just stopped working. He's trying to watch, but he can't do it, which is hilarious.
Well, to each his own.
I loved it.
Only you and Drew Barrymore love Tom Green.
That's fine.
My bum is on your lips.
So they, oh no, God, Tom Green. So they go into the parking lot to have a skate.
Demo.
They have a skate. They have a skate.
Yeah,
They skated up, shred.
They get a crowd of people. And
This fucking scene's weird. Why are all the skate people so mean? Give us free merch.
because
It's supposed to be a demo.
these people love free merch.
And then like one of the guys just like sabotages their van and shit. And he's
yeah,
like,
I don't understand that.
You know
Yeah.
that
know
little
them?
kid? That little kid is Ryan Sheckler.
No, it's Ryan Sheckler.
A professional. Are you kidding? You don't know Ryan Sheckler?
I'm
He's
not
a
a-
very
I don't
popular.
follow skating.
This is one that everyone knows who it is, but that's fine. He's that's him at like actual age 12.
Oh, the
but he's
one
a-
that's like, I'll
better-
take you.
Yeah, and they actually show him doing that's him
Yeah.
doing the tricks because he's a professional skateboarder even at
Interesting.
12, and now
Wow.
he's even better now. But yeah,
Now
that's
he's
him.
32. Because this movie was made 20 years ago.
I thought you Googled it. I was like, 32.
I'm so quick.
Like, that was quick. You don't know who he is, but now you know how old he is.
No, I'm just good at math. 12 plus 20. Boom.
All right, boom.
But
That was-
Sweet Lou picks up a lady, a woman,
Again.
Easily.
and they go to the van and they're having a tussle. They're having a kiss.
They're kissing.
They are.
They're having a kiss.
But
and
they
hug
like get exhausted and lay there together and cuddle after a makeout.
in the front seat. Yeah, they make out in the front seat and they're like, "Baby, I gotta take a nap."
Well, Ryan Sheckler tries to get in on the action first. Yeah.
When do you want to lose the dead weight and let's
Yeah.
hit the strip club?
That makes
Club,
more,
yeah.
that makes sense that he's like a skater now because that scene, that's why they wanted to
he's
put him in
famous.
more
That's why he
scenes.
was like focused on that one.
He was like the Cole Sprouse of the era, you know?
We all know who Cole Sprouse is.
You don't know Dylan and Cole Sprouse?
From Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
The kids that play the kid in Big Daddy, they're twins, but they play one character in Big Daddy. But
I
they,
do-
Also, the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I don't know.
They went on to be really
is
famous.
That really, he's the one from Big Daddy.
yeah.
Wow, I feel dumb. I didn't know that.
So they get in the van. There's a guy who's messed with their vehicle, but we haven't seen what happens yet.
Not yet.
Sweet Lou's lady, they're all sleeping on the couch like you mentioned, but Lou starts giving him a back rub, like, "Oh, you got good hands," and it's like he's right in front of you. How are you not see him?
His
eyes
are
are
closed.
closed. His eyes are
He's
closed.
really relaxed.
Yeah.
But you know
He
Matt.
just had sex.
You know Matt smells and breathes.
I
like,
do
on
tell us
him.
that the entire movie. Yeah, so he
Yeah.
has to smell.
Well, they get a flat tire. Dustin's really upset because his college fund is down the tubes.
$800.
Matt is out of nowhere really upset that there are women with them now. Like out of nowhere, he's like, "I'm sick and tired of these chicks.
He's against the women,
Wow.
regardless.
Why are the chicks here? This is the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Well, no girls allowed.
No girls allowed."
He's
Seats-
upset because
seats taken.
Except for when he walks up and stares at tits and makes misogynistic comments.
Now,
about them.
if he had said this 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, 2 minutes later, it would make sense because she does steal their van. But up
Right.
until this point, it's like, why is he like 180ing on women
right,
all
it's
of a
just a
sudden?
person there. But yeah, she does end up. He's right. So I guess
She steals their
we should learn
van.
a lesson from that.
Sweet Lou, game recognizes game, right? Wham bam, steal the van is a line he says. That was kind of funny.
Says
he's
touche,
impressed.
Yeah.
which is weird.
And then as they're walking through the desert, so they're trapped in the desert. And as they're walking through, Dustin like finally has it. He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, Jimmy Wilson's van's gonna go right up the horizon. Oh, and he's gonna tell us exactly where we need to go." And what happens, guys?
Jimmy's van shows up.
I didn't know this about personal vans. I didn't know they put signs on their windshield that said "next stop wherever they're going."
I know.
Tucson,
I don't.
right?
Yeah, it was Tucson. Yeah,
Why didn't they ask them for a ride? They're stranded in the desert. That would have been a great time to bond with Jimmy Wilson.
Would have
That's
been.
what
Hey,
all the
please
skaters
help.
that aren't pros are doing. That's why they just ignore them. They just give them a sign because they know people are just going to wait in the desert to knock on their doors.
That's true.
Chris, that was a very
Typical.
poser thing of you to
Yeah,
ask.
poser,
only a
amateur
poser
skater
would have
over
asked
here.
for help.
I did wear etnies and independent and
Oh
shit.
God.
And didn't skate. Not a.
That's the one. Okay, so that's a big thing about the blue people, the song crew people, the one that you play the song for, those people.
Oh, okay.
What song?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, they all ride. This is a specific thing for skateboarders. They all have world industry skateboards, which everyone that actually skates knows that is the poser.
Oh, so that's like a
world
good,
industries.
That's a good
posers.
detail for them to be riding those.
Yeah, and they even show it like in the very end when they like put they both like ride up and they put their skateboards on the actual coping
on the lip. Yeah.
World Industries. That's
called a
you
coping?
immediately know that they're posers. Yeah, the top is called coping. Yeah.
Coping.
Yeah.
Because it's like how you cope with life. Before you drop in, you know?
That's true. You do have to manage that before you even deal with the whole ramp. Just got to cope with it.
So they end up sleeping in the desert for the night. Matt's violated by a lizard.
Which is funny. He does a great job doing that.
Rango.
I think that was great acting.
He did kind of like it though.
Yeah.
Did kind of like
He didn't hate it.
He says that.
He's got experience with animals.
yeah, with a human who makes these rules, man.
Right.
But they get out of this predicament by Sweet Lou shirtless hitchhiking. We get Headstrong. The song plays.
Oh God.
Headstrong, it takes you on.
Who doesn't love
There's an
that song?
extended POD sequence in this movie. It's fucking wild.
Yeah. Well, Headstrong and then that POD song later on, those were like on repeat on my burnt CDs when I would like mow the lawn.
Just Headstrong in that one.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff like that. Sweet Lou's already doing his what's ups at the new skating place. Jimmy Wilson skates. My note says Jimmy Wilson skates. I keep forgetting who this motherfucker is.
Oh, yeah. They just say his name a bunch. Jimmy Wilson. Jimmy
Right.
Wilson.
They don't show him that much, but like that's who they're chasing the entire movie.
Yeah.
They only had like 3 days with Jason London.
But Bam shows up. He gets Eric into the actual like VIP section. Like, oh, he's with me. I know that guy. We have a history. He probably should have been asking me for the demo tapes this whole time. Thankfully, that's what he finally does. He's like, hey, man, here's my demo tape. But at that moment, Jamie shows up and Bam like hard left turns into total misogyny. Like, get the skate out of here. Like, just like, what?
I
Why
was
are you
shocked.
so mad?
I was like,
He's a
what's going
professional
on?
skateboarder. Like he's just immediately just as negative.
Like,
and mean.
I told you I don't like your energy on my tour.
I don't like
I'm
you being
also
here.
on tour. It's the plot twist later is that I have a job.
Women shouldn't skate.
Dude, it's
That's
like,
my whole
out of
vibe.
nowhere.
it's so weird.
I just can't believe that Bam Margera is like, yeah, I'll do your skate movie. I want to like promote the sport. And they're like, yeah, but you become like a misogynist, like bad guy in the middle. And he's like, yeah, that's me, man.
Well, yeah, because he's playing himself. That's true. I was going
Right.
to say there's some like pro basketball players that were in Adam Sandler's movie Hustle.
Oh, that's a good movie. I like
one
that.
of them played like a really, really, really bad guy, you know, like super bully piece of shit. But he wasn't playing himself. So that's fair.
Yeah, it's bonkers that was something that he was okay with. He calls her a haggard ass chick. I'm like, God damn. But thankfully,
That is clever.
Eric steps up, says Bam's a bad guy.
Hey, no, he's just like, hey,
That's all he does. Yeah. And that just ruins his whole career right
she
there.
could be having a bad day or something
Right.
after this. That's not cool. Oh, really? That's not cool? He thought I was going to watch your tape? If you think stuff like this is uncool, then I'm not going to watch it.
Immediately, yeah. I no longer like you because you defended her. Okay.
You just defend
So-
a woman?
Are you kidding? I mean, I get it, but I mean, you know.
Dustin and Matt, meanwhile, end up in Jimmy Wilson's big like RV.
Yeah. Takes a
Matt-
shit.
Matt takes
Spoiler.
a giant dump. Dustin's plan
Very
is to
quick dump. I assume he didn't wipe
I
wash
know.
his
I
hands.
Well, he
immediately
definitely
think that every
didn't.
time I watch it. I'm like, man, you're done, but it was you destroyed it. You got some digestive issues.
and you didn't hear anything. Like if you're that quick destroying a toilet, that's like shotgun blast,
Right, it's
explosion
just
noises.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
The acoustics in that bus would be,
Mwah.
I'm not gonna lie,
Chef's
I've been
kiss.
there, but I mean,
yeah.
the way that he was just ready for that.
But Dustin's plan is to put one of their tapes in their camera and unwittingly destroys the tape of a trick that he had been working 2 years on.
I feel like they set up this comedic cringe sequence.
Oh,
like,
you're the
you
guys
just-
that broke my tape?
You destroyed the priceless tape because he's like, oh, I've been trying that trick for months and we finally nailed it. And, you know, and then, oh, who pooped nobody poops in the bus, right? Like they set up this perfect, like,
just
and
a
then
bunch
they
of different steps leading up to
and then they just
nothing.
shrug and
Yeah.
get off the bus.
Yeah.
Well, he says, the one dude says, like, I'll take care of this, I'll fix it. Is that something you can do with a tape like that?
I think you could just rewind
You
it.
can
couldn't
try to. Yeah, you can try
I'm
to
gonna say,
fix it,
okay.
yeah.
I feel like it would be really hard though.
It's possible. It's possible you could have saved it, but
They were distracted by the poop. I get it.
Yeah. You got to get out of there. The
You
poop,
have to.
The poop might have damaged the quality of the film too.
We've seen Matt the entire movie, so I mean, he's very dirty and smelly. So who knows what his poop is like?
Eric and Jamie finally have a conversation after an hour. We finally get the love interest to finally have a conversation with each other. She tells him what everyone has been telling him this whole time, and that is, just keep skating. Someone will find you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he needed to hear.
Which is me.
Which, is solid advice. Like, if you love a thing, just keep doing it. Eventually, if you work hard enough, things will work out. Maybe not perfectly.
Right.
I mean, we've been
God
doing this.
said that originally.
Who said that?
God. If you build it,
That's what I thought he said.
they will come.
Yeah.
That's true.
But anyway, go on.
It was then that I carried you.
Speaking of God, what about our podcast?
I was just saying, like, we've been doing this podcast since 2017, and it's only been this year where we actually have listeners.
Yeah.
Y'all been killing it though. I love it. I love every episode you guys do. And you're the reason I watch Yellow Jackets. So
I appreciate that.
And I never would have discovered that. And now it's one of my favorite shows and I can't wait.
A lot of people have said that. I mean, I think Showtime owes us something.
They do. They definitely do. Because I subscribed to Showtime because of your guys' podcast.
Hear that, Showtime?
Just for Yellow Jackets.
You hear that, motherfuckers?
I don't watch any. Actually, no. I watched one other show on it, but it's depressing. I watched the American Shooter one, but that's a whole different thing.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Well, Showtime, next time we ask for screeners.
Yeah.
Give it to
Tony up.
Eric kind of puts his foot in his mouth. He kind of implies that Jamie is there because she has been hooking up with Bam.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, but that's okay because you're super cute.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the logic behind it. Yeah, you're right. You nailed it. Yeah.
But before he can really kind of like make amends with putting his foot in his mouth, Dustin shows up and says, I don't know if it was the stroganoff or what, but I just destroyed Jimmy Wilson's van, my guy.
I know he doesn't have her cell phone number or anything. And he's just like so embarrassed that he's like, all right, well, we got to get out of here, even though they don't have a car.
Yeah.
Dude.
He's just embarrassed by his friends.
And then she offers to take them to the next city.
Right. And they say no.
And well, Matt's like, well, what about the rule?
Right.
You don't even have a car. You were just in the desert.
He kisses her. Matt kisses Jamie.
He does.
In
On
the
the cheek.
scene.
Yeah, I
on
know.
the cheek.
And then Sweet Lou tries to move in
Yeah, he's like, what's up?
and use his superpower.
Pulls him away. Yep.
He's
Yep.
like,
That's
nope,
true.
nope. I called dibs, sir.
It's like, how you doing?
He did call dibs. I got to go.
Yeah.
This is when we see the larger guy from Jackass. He's got to take a dump. He goes into the porta potty.
What is
Spencer.
Spencer? Is that his name?
No, it's not Spencer. It's
Ar-
it's like Louis or
No, it's not
Huey
Louis. You're
or
thinking of
something.
Louis
Petey.
Armstrong.
Huey
Is
or
it
Louie.
Petey?
Just name the DuckTales nephews.
not on purpose.
He runs into the porta potty, and at first I wrote random.
Hot
'cause
snakes.
I didn't know where that was going.
Hot snakes.
But then Jimmy Wilson is hot snakes. Jimmy Wilson's like leaving, so they're like in a last ditch effort to catch his eye. They're gonna do this crazy ramping thing, and Eric.
Yes, that's what it's called.
With the crazy ATV guy who just like was riding around and flipped his ATV out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Don't flip!
Exactly. Yeah. Except no one told him to.
That guy's so random. What the? And then he just gets up.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
fine.
he's like, I'll help you guys.
But they're not allowed to skateboard there, but that guy's allowed to do that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
just want to share I'm
Yeah,
clear.
I would say he's not. They're just security sucks. He's just one dude, apparently.
And then who forces them to? I'm sorry, Steve. I know
not
you're
even
about to
his
say
job.
it.
Oh
Yeah.
no! So he does the trick. No one sees it. He runs into the porta potties. They get knocked over. You think Preston's gonna get like shit all over him, but he doesn't.
No.
So heavy, dude.
It's so anticlimactic.
Doesn't
Like,
affect
Everything
him at
is
all.
blue balls in this movie.
yeah, you're like, seriously. I thought there was gonna be this big like shit everywhere.
I want to see the poop.
Preston's gonna be pooped on. Nothing. But then this like Long Island guy's like, yo kids. I'm sick and tired of you skateboarders here coming thinking you could do whatever you want around town.
The one and only security guard there.
But then he tells them to clean up, like the worst job in the world. You have to clean up manually with no tools or gloves or anything.
Right.
And you have no car or nowhere to shower after this. No, I'm not doing that.
How did they do that? Just go in there and just spit shine it with their hands?
And it just cuts. And then, but the security guy leaves. I know it's a small thing.
I would walk away,
in a
yeah.
dumb movie that's supposed to be dumb, but
Oh, kids would have ran away.
He's not
the moment he
enforcing
turned his
that,
back.
yeah.
in what world do they stay and actually do that?
He just
Yeah.
has a gun to their head, like, you better lick
Take
that
me to
shit
jail.
up, literally.
No.
I'm literally homeless 1,000 miles from my hometown.
Well, even if you
Right,
did,
they're
arrest
basically
me.
homeless people. Yeah.
even if you did call the police to like take care of the kids,
They wouldn't make them do it.
no officer's going to be like, "Oh, you mean they were skateboarding just outside this fence of the skate park?
Right. With one sign that
Why
says
are
no
we being
skateboarding.
called?"
Well, that's the characters point that out.
Right.
But yeah,
Then he,
Skateboarding is not against the law. Or what is the... Oh, man. there's a
Loitering?
sticker. No, it's just this skateboarding is not a crime. That's it. That's what everybody has on their board. Skateboarding is not a crime.
that's right.
Because they tried to make it into a crime. I don't know who they is.
The man.
The man. But it's not. It's
skateboards
not a
don't
crime.
skateboard. People skateboard.
Exactly. Exactly. You get it, Steve. You get it.
Eric's all sad because his plans. He's like, "It's over, guys. You should have stayed home and not listened to a thing I said." But they're all
It's
like,
the dark night of the soul.
You're right.
Yeah. But
I'm still
everyone's
laughing
like,
at skateboards don't skateboard people.
They don't. You're not wrong.
skateboard people. But yeah, they're like, "Hey man, you've got balls. We're on an adventure. This is fun." Dustin lost all his money, but thankfully Jamie said,
$800.
$796.18.
I thought it was eight. Oh yeah, he said the exact amount, didn't he? Yeah.
Every penny.
every penny. But Jamie arrives to save
Whole
them
college
all.
fund.
Right.
2 weeks pay. And
my
It has to be like 2 weeks pay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
What
at minimum
overtime was
wage.
he
Yeah.
getting?
He's getting paid horribly at Chili and such.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Raise the minimum wage.
We're still on that.
He was
Since
$5.15 back
2003.
then.
I bet it's still the same minimum
Right.
wage today that it was back in 2003.
He's still struggling. He still hasn't got a full semester.
dude, I want to start a D&D character and be a wizard called Winnemem Mage.
Minimum wage.
Oh, like minimum. I get it.
Dude,
I like
that
that.
just hit me. Please write that down.
All right.
Who are you talking to? Pippin?
Yes.
Minimum wage. Cast.
There you go.
Cast do a flip.
Hey, dog. Hey, dog.
Hey dog. Hey dog. Oh, we're gonna get more of that.
I'm ready.
But yeah, Jamie's like, "You guys gotta come to Santa Monica. You can take my car." And they start talking about her, and they're like, "No, we're not going." She just leaves. She's got a nice SUV. They're all mad at Matt. But guys,
They still
it
walk.
is time to meet the clowns,
That's
baby.
true. Yeah. I forgot about that, actually.
Matt's parents are clowns. Plot twist. That's why he hates clowns. They abandoned him in high school.
Senior year.
They
Which was just
aban-
months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, they
Literally
abandoned him
this
like,
year. This just happened. Yeah.
This is a fresh wound for Matt.
It's true.
He's only recently hated clowns.
His whole family, his sister too,
Yeah,
Super hot sister.
They
who has, guess
abandoned
what?
him.
Boobs. They make sure you know.
Big ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I love her shirt that just says circus.
She's in the circus. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean-
let us know. I was confused before that.
Yeah, I wrote, Matt is so bitter that they abandoned him to join the circus. What is this movie?
But thank God that the last skate demo occurred miles away from where his parents had left him to house their circus
Thank God.
in this other random state.
Thank
It just
God.
happened. I feel like it's all just happening in one state,
Guys.
just really close because they're walking
We
everywhere.
can just foot it to my parents' circus, actually,
Right.
since we're in
I know where they
Kansas.
are.
They're like 2 streets over. You know?
Yeah, they're right there. Sweet Lou seems to be smitten with Matt's sister. She's like, "You want to know how to throw a pie? Bet you never turn down pie."
I'm talking
It was a
about
cream
vagina.
pie too. I don't know if you guys saw that. Easter egg.
Remember in the
That's
early
probably
2000s?
foreshadowing to the sequel too.
Yeah.
That was another early 2000s thing because I feel like people don't say pie in an innuendoous way that much anymore. But in the
No.
early 2000s, it was like, "Oh, you like pie or you like strudel?" Like it was one of those.
Oh, yeah.
things.
Is strudel wiener or something?
Yeah, strudel's wiener.
Is it?
Yeah,
Imagining a
or so
strudel.
saith Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Oh, if he says it, then we're good. Yeah, that's definitely a strudel.
Yeah, he's the patron saint of strudel. If you know what I
Damn
mean.
right.
But yeah, we got a nice little montage of them doing the skate in clown gear this time. Matt, inexplicably, because he's, I guess, connected with his parents and he's more the turmoil in his soul of being abandoned has finally been laid to rest. He can finally take a shower.
What a
Sure.
build up.
Yeah. They make a whole big
That
deal
was
of
better
like,
than the movie did.
"Oh, Matt, you're wearing flannel now. Wow."
And they
His
got like
hair's
a little part.
I was like, he's got his hair slightly combed.
Yeah, they say
And
goodbye.
then he's able to pull buxom girl number 2 due to this shower.
That's all it took.
Oh, is that number 2 and not number 1?
I'm not sure.
He doesn't have
I
to
just
become a
assumed 'cause
pro
it was
skater.
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they all say their goodbyes. Sweet Lou makes out with his sister.
Super easy.
Matt's super okay with it, I guess.
Yeah, they don't make a thing of it like you think they would.
He's happy for him.
But they end up going to the Santa Monica skate crew. Immediately, we get to see our good friends, the Blue Crew.
That gets me every time.
They have a little like face to face with them, and like the one dude's like, "Let me hit you with a booyah." I'm like,
oh, is that when all 4 of them go?
booyah!
Yeah, dude, that got them. They're done after that's a
Yeah,
burn.
you can't recover from that.
That is the most ridiculous burn I've ever seen. It's
you
so
can't
amazing.
triple stamp a double stamp.
You can't. And you can't booyah a booyah. All right. You already been booyah.
Once you get booyah, it's done.
You're done.
It's
Get out of
done.
there.
But they go to sign up to register. We get to hear the song "I'm Just a Kid" from Simple Plan, as heard from TikTok.
My wife
That's
started
where
singing
everyone
it.
learned it from. Yeah.
My wife started singing it from the kitchen.
Did she really?
I'm just a kid. Yeah.
It's a good song.
It's an earworm.
They don't expect to make the registration.
That's
so
the point. The farthest they get at any of these meetups is this point, right? It's their last fucking chance.
it's their last chance. It's this or nothing. They don't think they're going to make registration. So Matt has this plan where he kidnaps Wee Man and says he's Timmy from
says,
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Find a
I'm
kid.
not a kid.
It's Wee Man.
Yeah. But turns out they're already pre-registered. By whom, I wonder?
The one woman they met that they didn't realize, because a professional.
Turns out
and
all
is a-
women don't suck. Sometimes
Right.
there's one cool one.
Finally, there's one that you can use to your benefit. Thank God. I knew there was one out there.
Boobs.
Right. Besides the boobs, there's something else you can
Hey,
do.
there's not just boobs because we cut to a shot of Wee Man just slapping butts.
That's
All right?
true.
That's
That's important. That's a
yeah,
plot point.
slapping butts.
It's the spinoff. Butts.
We had to see that. But we find out that Jamie is a pro skater. That's why she's on tour. She's not just a groupie. She actually has talent and
A ramp
value.
tramp.
She's
has
a
value.
person. She is a
Thankfully.
person.
I know.
Wow.
Weird.
Imagine that. A woman with value.
It only takes an hour and a half for us to discover that.
Jesus Christ. Who wrote this movie? George Lucas in the 80s? Fuck.
But Marsha did not edit it. I cannot say that enough times.
Yeah, she was like, "What did George have something to do with this? I'm out." Eric and Jamie talk. Eric says he thinks he loves her. And she's like, "Oh, you don't have a problem with chick skaters?" Like, "Oh, this poor woman. She's trying to break that
She's
glass ceiling."
Right. She's been waiting this whole movie just to ask that one question.
He apologized for not seeing her for who she was. Again, they've had one conversation before this.
Right.
But back then I should have known.
I should have known back then when you saw me in the Sheriff Bean costume. I still have it, by the way.
It's a little bent out in
I
the
let
crotch
Dustin
area.
fuck me in it all the time.
The boys all get together. They're emotional about the journey. They finally made it. It's their time to shine. My sister wanted me to give you this. Matt pulls out a clown nose for Sweet Lou.
But then he has it later in his pocket.
Got to keep it in there.
You gotta hold on to it. He loves her. It only took one meeting.
I do love the
More cream
announcer.
pie.
I do love the announcers. Like, if you haven't heard of these kids before, we're all in the same boat.
Right, they just shit on him the entire time. And they're just like slow
I bet
motion
they're cool.
walking out.
Don't worry.
Yeah, but they get the slow motion astronaut walk, which is kind of fun. Matt's parents, the clowns, they're in attendance. Van Girl is in the attendance as well. Who's she hanging out with, guys?
Hey,
Those
dog,
guys-
hey,
she looks
dog.
very uncomfortable.
Which is very foreshadowing to their Escalade.
She's very uncomfortable, but she does
just
get to steal the Escalade.
loves stealing cars. That's it.
But they do their little montage. They're doing their flips and shit. They're having fun. There we go.
Their
It took me
skate tricks.
Yeah. I can't tell if they're doing good or not. Apparently they did a good job because Buxom Girl number 2 hits on Matt. We see Van Girl steals the Escalade. And then I guess we get the final showdown, the final confrontation.
This is what it's all been leading up to.
Of the dogs.
The Blue Crew. I don't like your face, man.
One of them's name is Red Crip, which I thought was really funny.
Red Crew. That actually is a really good name.
I don't remember any of their names, but that's hilarious.
That's actually pretty funny. I do like
Because
that.
he's also the red-haired one.
Oh,
that
so
guy.
now I know which one you're talking about.
So this when we get the Here Comes the Boom song plays. I guess they're playing horse.
Stick it up, yo, yeah.
I would say I don't know if that's horse, but it's just like I guess they're just like following along.
Weren't they doing like I did a trick and then I did that too?
Yeah, I think it's just like one-upping each other. I wouldn't consider it horse, but
okay.
Because if it was horse, they would literally be doing straight same tricks back and forth.
Is horse called skate?
Yeah, it is actually. That's skating is like if you play skate, it's mostly just flip tricks though. Like you go back and forth, like kick flip, pop shove it. Like I play it, and you just play skate just like you would horse.
900.
But you can do that on like
on a vert.
If you're Tony Hawk, but you can do it on I feel like you play skate on the
Tony
rail.
Hawk the only one who's ever done a 900 still?
No, there's so many. Are you kidding? There's like a 14-year-old that did like a 1480 like 3 months ago.
Really? Was he the first one to do as many as a 900?
He was the first 14-year-old to do like a 1480.
No, follow the convo, bro. Was Tony Hawk the first one to do that many rotations?
Oh yeah, he was the first 900.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why.
That's why it had to be cool at some point, right?
Yeah, he was the first one to ever do that. Yeah.
Well, I feel like ice skaters can spin a lot more.
Well, it's on a half pipe.
You ever seen those guys?
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
They spin really fast.
That's a whole different thing, though. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's different. It's cold.
They're also on the ground.
Yeah, they're on the ground, and they have two like blades on their feet that are separated from the skateboard. Like a skateboard is like it's one board.
Unified.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, and it's different.
Like a boner.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they call them wood pushers. They got a wood down there. Mm-hmm. They're pushing it.
But he beats the Blue Crew.
Yeah, they go back and forth.
This scene takes 11 minutes.
It does take 11 minutes. It's the
best part of the whole movie.
It's the only time where they did tricks that were actually like somewhat impressive. I do love it though that it looks like the same stuntman is playing both characters in the scene because they're not even trying to hide that these are not the actors.
Right.
Like it's like
they're
this is clearly.
Well, they do one shot of them that's clearly on a different vert, where it's like looking up and you do get to see their faces as they go over.
They're mostly just doing kickflip indies the entire time, just over and over.
They grind the
coping a little bit. They'll do a few little, like crooked grinds and stuff like that, and then pop back in. But then mostly it's just kickflip indie.
And everybody who just watched an entire pro competition is watching
like they're just like, whoa, there's two dudes skating over here? No way.
Guys, everybody get in here. There's some rando skating.
You know what this movie, like, again, they don't take it far enough. It reminds me of like, which are movies that I also like those dance competition movies.
Step Up.
Like Step Up, but what's the other one?
Those are good.
Even like Bring It On and shit, like Bring It On 3. Like there's parts of it, like, all right,
Bring It On 3?
Let's do this.
I've only seen the first one, but are they good in the third one?
No, like the later
the first one's awesome.
But I'm just saying, like, I'll watch them because it's like a drum line. Like this is it's kind of my shit.
That slaps.
This movie was so close, not close, but it had the potential to be one of those.
That final trick that he does, the one that they build up with, like that we've been waiting on. Because they mentioned it in the beginning.
By the way, the Blue Crew guy completely nonplussed. Our hero pouring sweat.
Down sweat.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, so tired.
Looks like
gassed.
You're trying way harder.
But they were like teasing, they were teasing this trick the entire time. He's like, because he's trying to get sponsors. He's like, that one trick I'm trying to
landed it.
I almost landed it right on the clip. And then at the very end, like it's all built up. The music slows down and like him slowing down slow motion. And then it's really quick and they cut away from it. Like it's a huge letdown.
But it looks complicated at least.
No, it was complicated. I know, but I feel like the way they shot it was just poorly done. Like it was it was cut away really like way too quickly, and they didn't show him landing it. I mean, they did, but they didn't show him like rolling away or anything.
Yeah,
like there was no like satisfaction from it. Yeah, I know. They actually couldn't land it.
You're like, that's a wrap. Marshall, fix it. I'm not going to edit this movie.
Yes, I'm not. George? I gave you the papers. Leave me alone. I don't get enough credit for your vision. But yeah, so he trounces Blue Crew. They seem to like make amends. Like, yo, man, I don't really know why we actually hate each other. Let's hug it out. And just one more time. One more time for the dogs.
Hey, and then they go off to presumably find they have no vehicle, but we don't get the satisfaction.
No, they're fine with that.
So fucking weird. That scene was definitely cut out.
They're going to go get 40s.
40s on everybody.
40s on me.
40s on fuck your girl, though.
I'm going to take your girl. And then he's like, no, you're not. Like, all right, that's awkward. All right. Sick.
I love that you brought it back again. I love it.
I love you, dog. But Randy Quaid thinks they're really great. Jimmy Wilson still didn't see them, though. What a letdown.
Bummer.
It seems like they totally flubbed it. We get like a cut to like the end of the summer. Right?
Yeah, I mean, they're back at Chili and such, and
he's
Sweet
working with his
Lou's-
dad.
Sweet Lou's living.
He's
with
in the circus?
his
He's a
sister.
clown,
he's
yeah.
it's loving life.
Eric Rivers is working with his dad at
He's
the
huffing
hardware
shit at
shop.
the hardware store,
Yeah.
trying to get a stepmom of his own one day.
Right, thank God.
I hope they gave him a mono.
For sure.
I'm sure he's got a
Welcome
blue
to the
mono.
club.
The company mono.
Welcome to the club.
But out of nowhere, because he says, like, man, I can't get a hold of Jamie. She's really hard to get. She's probably in Toronto being an awesome chick doing sweet things with her board. But
Like, do they not have cell phones at this time?
Nah, that's
She can't text
2003,
him?
man. She's playing Snake somewhere.
I get it. I get it. I wouldn't talk to him
She
either.
didn't have any minutes.
He's not good enough to be a professional skateboarder. So.
but guys, who pulls up?
In their
boss,
giant van in
Jimmy
that
Wilson.
area, that's a no outlet. Like, so
Yeah.
they can't turn around. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jimmy Wilson.
She brought this professional skater all the way to his small town
Did anyone else?
to drive to his street
Did anyone else
to
get a-
pick them up without packing anything. Just get right on the bus.
Jimmy Wilson's like, hey guys,
You
you want to go on tour with me?
Right.
Like right? No, I mean like right now.
That is
like,
100% how it goes if
No-
you get sponsored by skateboarders.
no time
Yes.
to pack. Get on, and then we get another stinger 1 year later, and it's back at the skate shop. Same conversation another kid's having with the same owner of the shop. But this time, Eric, like you said, Chris, he shows up.
got
He
his own
signs
Rivers
the board,
decks.
and he gives the board to the boy because he is better than Bam Margera.
That's the theme of the whole movie.
And if there's one lesson you can take in this whole episode is that Bam Margera is a narcissistic misogynist.
It's the whole point of the movie.
Which
Not far off.
not untrue. Wish him all the best. I hope he heals.
I hope he does. He's struggling though, that's for sure.
Thank you to Will Nash for bringing this masterpiece to our attention.
Yeah, well, I hope you are okay with the light ribbing in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't like I didn't have a good time at all. Jake,
Oh, I love this movie. I'll watch it again. I love shooting on
now.
it too, though.
I appreciate you coming out, man. And
Oh, dude, this was a blast. I loved every second of this.
shedding some light on
Yes, a
grind
much
for us.
needed skateboarding background. 'cause
By the way-
I don't know anything about skating other than
That is not how you get sponsored, I would imagine. But I mean, although I'm not sponsored, so I could be wrong. I wasn't good enough.
Shout out to Steve, who I don't think got enough credit for when Jake said he was trying to grind on his bumper for his car. And Steve said, nothing wrong with a little bumper grind.
That's true. That was good. I like
God, that
that.
was a good pun. That was good.
I
Anywho.
don't see nothing wrong.
Please keep supporting us. Keep listening to the show. Thank you to everybody for like I said, I can't say it enough. If you've been waiting on us for us to cover your chosen movie, it's coming soon. Just hang on a little bit longer. Next week is Tombstone. Maybe something a little extra. I don't know.
That's a
What's
good
after
one.
Tombstone again? The
Silence of the Lamb.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh
right?
no, yeah, you're right. Robin Hood Men in
that's a
Tights
good
is after
one.
And
Tombstone. You're
Silence of
correct.
the fucking Lambs. That's going to be incredible.
Yeah, we got some good ones.
Email us, streamingthingspod@gmail.com. That's all the time we have for right now. My name is Chris,
I'm Jake.
And I'm Steve.
and this is Streaming Things. Happy streaming.
What an ending.
Hey dog, I've been all around the world, but I don't roll with nobody but my dog. Hey dog,
Oh, it's April Fools, everybody. Just kidding. That was a couple days ago. But in the month of April, we've got some new patrons we want to give a shout out to because they are keeping the lights on for us over here at Streaming Things, as well as many of you who have been patrons for a very long time. So let's welcome these newcomers into our family. Our first one isn't technically new, but he did upgrade his tier to the highest tier possible of the K-Stu patron saint of Streaming Things, and that is Stanton Valentino. So thank you so much, Stanton. We also want to welcome our brand new Try Before You Deny producers, Wendy O'Laughlin, Jason Hawkins, and Matthew Amerson. Thank you, guys. Brand new to the Marty B VIP section, we have Aubrey Carell, Tyler Ashby, Alan Tomlinson, Kate Lampy, Joey Stewart, Taryn Sayre, Jesse Lay, Kashunya, Luke Dixon, Lena Anderson, and Huang Lei. Thank you guys so much. And our chocolate pudding producer sections, we got some brand newcomers. We got Crystal Wheatley, Katie, Anna Javinjo. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. Thank you to Bailey Patterson, Abby Christine Creations, Aaron Bradley, California, Alex the Average. I think you could be pretty great, Alex, not going to lie. Lauren Daly, Sarah Podber, Richard Humphrey, Sarah Rowe, Chris Williams, Stephanie, Jose Presidio, Presidio. I'm pronouncing that way wrong. I'm so sorry, Jose. Melanie Dame, Katie G, Wade, Huggy Loaf. I love that name, Huggy Loaf. And of course, the upside down Canuck. What is an upside down Canuck? Is that like a mean Canadian? I don't know. And finally, our Friends Don't Lie producers. We can't leave them hanging. We got to thank them as well. So thank you so much to Austin Sylvie, Sahiba, and Zaray Penna. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the show. We can't do it without you. And I hope you keep enjoying these episodes.